Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. One day, very soon, gonna wake up on the moon. Brand new yacht and a McDonald's in my living room. Bright yellow Lamborghini, 15-meter swimming pool. Champagne every day, hey fam, what you do? Wanna hang, wanna chill? Oh, you got a mansion too? Oh, that's right, held on tight, jack titties every night. We was in way back when they tried to drop it down to 10. And just couldn't comprehend, ace was strong until the end. Now let's retell it, citadel they be sweating. Had enough of these felons, but the ace we rebelling. Cause we never be selling, till we send it to heaven. Now we be out here yelling, hey screw you Kenny. Bought my wife a minivan to share with the boyfriend, but I pull up in the Benz, plate saying olive crayons. Going on an airplane, don't think we'll be back again. Celebrating every day like it's your birthday. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Today's expectation, probably more manipulation. FUD, a creation of a crooked operation. Bought more while it was low, got more dips than Trader Joe's. Oh, you thought that we'd let go? What the hell you take us for? Holla if you spend your last dollar on bananas while living in squalor. We don't claim to be scholars, we the smooth brain dummies, and we never stood taller. Yeah, we do this for love and we do this for honor. A follower 11 ain't got nothing on us. We the planet of the apes and in MOS we trust. MOASS, oh hell yes. Gonna send it into space, go fire up the jets. Done my DD, call me Elton John, Rocket Man. This is the way, gonna be gorillionaires. Ground control to Major Tom, we about to have liftoff. Call us Neil Armstrong, gonna keep holding on. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon.
Let's fucking go.
Moon gang. Hello. Hope you're having an absolutely amazing morning, evening, afternoon, night, wherever it is. But today is Monday, October 18th. Hey, shout out. It was my pops' birthday yesterday. So shout out to him if you're listening right now. I don't know if he is or isn't, but happy day late birthday to him because we weren't streaming yesterday. Overall, folks, we have a lot to get into. I hope you, first of all, I just hope you had a nice relaxing weekend. Maybe you were paying attention to some of the sporting games, or maybe you're watching the crypto market all weekend just because you're too addicted to the charts like myself. Maybe you're just relaxing with some friends and family. No matter what you decided to do, hope you had an absolutely amazing one. So let's start this off. What I want to do is kind of get everyone's head straight for kind of what to look for this week, some of the important developments across all markets, and then from there, of course, I'll be turning it over to you for any questions before that bell goes ding, ding, ding. So let's hop into it. So never really like to start it out like this, but a little bit of morbid news coming out this morning. Colin Powell, former Secretary and State and chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he passed away due to complications with COVID-19, just so everyone knows that. So obviously, Colin Powell, family in our thoughts. So here's what you need to know about the market today. Wall Street set to start the week lower after Friday's rally. So one thing I want to point out to you is, yes, okay, we've been talking about the FOMC. We know that they're going to start the tapering in November. We've been talking about the debt ceiling. We are waiting on the president to sign that, which is fully expected to happen. And previously, it was a cautionary tale of what's going on with Evergrande, and I'll be talking about that in a second. But really, to me, if you're looking at the overall market right now, like we're seeing a little bit of weakness, in both the SPY, the IWM, the Qs. To me, this is just more of a healthy check back because we gapped up 2 days in a row, especially on the SPY. And now that some of those things that people are being cautious about are going to the wayside, we're also seeing some very positive things in terms of reports right here. So far, 41 S&P 500 companies have delivered third quarter results, with 80% of them topping earnings per share expectations. Last week, it was a bunch of banks, big banks, and on top of that, health insurance companies. This week, we do have some other ones right here: Netflix, J&J, United Airlines, Procter & Gamble, other very important companies to pay attention to get a better idea of what's going on in the overall market. But right now, this quarter, the third fiscal quarter, doing very well in terms of reports. Another thing that is still kind of brewing underneath in terms of a macroeconomic perspective is what's going on with inflation. I mean, we're seeing some crazy things. The cost of everything is up, and I will specifically obviously be talking about oil, but just in general, everything's up. We have high demand, low supply. I believe right now, the last time I checked on it, there were still 80 plus cargo ships stuck in the ports outside of LA and Long Beach and the Pacific there. It's right here because of COVID and everything that happened. The workforces are down, factories are down, and yet demand is still high, and we're having a tough issue. And then when you have the energy sector, oil is very high, gasoline is very high, coal is very high. We're definitely seeing some inflationary signals. I'm not here going to be beating the drum of this is hyperinflation, this is what it's going to lead to, be prepared for D-Day. No, I obviously see a pathway out of this, but in the meantime, I don't think that the Federal Reserve is really doing the public any good by saying, oh, it's completely transitory, don't worry about it at all. There are many different metrics, quantitative metrics in the back end that are saying, okay, inflation, it's a worthwhile conversation to have right now. And it is by no means helping that oil is sky high. Highest oil since October of 2014. Behind the March higher are continued recovering demand as COVID depressed business activity picks up, and as natural gas and coal prices encourage a switch to fuel oil and diesel from power generation. Natural gas sky high, coal sky high, oil sky high right now. I do have the chart up for you. Look at this. Ever since late August, just sky high, just shooting. We got above 83. It's right now at 82, 88. You can track this. This is the light crude. You could track it on the futures market. It is available to you on TradingView. But as you can see, going higher and higher. So right here, this reasoning of demand, supply, that makes sense. But on top of it, do not forget that OPEC and their allies all determined it was a better move to keep supply low. They're intentionally not releasing additional oil to the public market. So when you're constraining supply, obviously when demand is constant or higher, that's going to drive price up. So that's definitely one thing to consider. China's GDP disappoints. Third quarter slows to 4.9%. So this is, we're talking a year ago as industrial activity in the world's second largest economy rose less than expected in September. There's a myriad of reasons for this. And the main thing I really want to talk about is it does seem the Evergrande situation. We do have a new update on this. This is coming from Unusual Whales. Evergrande is set to officially be in default on October 23rd when the grace period on its first non-payment ends. Previous dates suggested the 18th, 19th. So now the new date we're paying attention to is October 23rd. But with that, not people's worry about Evergrande because of how much debt they had. We're talking over 300 billion. They're like, okay, well, how many other companies and industries is it going to bring down with it? But it does seem like it is more in control than when we were first hearing about it. So that's a little bit of why it's not being discussed as much. I don't think it's going to have as huge implications on the market. And really, let's be fair, from the start, there were many people who were like, this is nothing like 2008. This is nothing like long-term capital. And those people were right, and they were mainly pointing out the industry that it was involved in and where it was dealing. So that one kind of falling to the wayside, but overall, it is interesting to note that for whatever's going on, China's GDP was disappointing. Bitcoin, huge movements in Bitcoin, huge fundamental movements in Bitcoin. So I want to talk about this in just a bit, but just so you know, also Apple looks like they're coming out with, they have a launch event today. Previously, they've discussed everything but the Mac. So a lot of these people who are devout followers of Apple, we've learned about iPhones, iPads, Apple Watches, but Macs have not been in the discussion. So a lot of people assuming the launch event today will be about Macs, just so you know what's going on with Apple. Before I get into my breakdown of Bitcoin and crypto in general, I do want to talk about seasonality and where we're at. So we're about halfway through October, and what this is the typical seasonality trend of the S&P 500. And as you can see, when you get about halfway through October, the first third of October, from there until pretty much the first week-ish of January, the trend is up and up and up. Obviously, there's some hiccups, like right here, this appears to be around Thanksgiving, right here, mid-December. But in general, if you look at like a multi-week time frame, it does look as if the trend for the overall stock market from here until about the start of January is up and away, just so you know. So from a seasonal perspective, from now until January, I'm inherently going to be bullish. Of course, there could be pockets of weakness right here. I just pointed out Thanksgiving. We have whatever this dip is in mid-December. This one, I think, is more noteworthy. And by the way, you can get this off of Equity Clock. This is a free website. Just Google Equity Clock. But anyway, this one I find concerning, not just from a seasonality standpoint, but on top of it, remember, this is now the new deadline for the debt ceiling, early December. So if we have a little bit of seasonal weakness on top of potentially more political fighting, right versus left, of what's going on with the debt ceiling, I'm specifically interested in this time frame, just so everyone knows. But really, from now until, let's say, the Thanksgiving time period, seasonal perspective, and really I'm not seeing too many movements on the political front that could have a huge influence. Obviously that could change as soon as today, but as of now on the radar, I'm kind of liking this trend overall. Obviously that's not like day-to-day green. I'm saying just if you were to take the general period of mid-October until the end of November, I'm going to be a bit bullish there. That's your overall market. Now let's talk about the new exciting news in the world of crypto. The first Bitcoin Futures ETF in the US is set to begin trading in the week ahead. And in fact, we actually have an additional development on it. ProShares Bitcoin Futures ETF will launch on the New York Stock Exchange Tuesday. We're talking about tomorrow. That's very exciting. This was reported by the New York Times, so I'm going to say that's a credible source. So when you're diving into this right here, Walter Bloomberg, good account to follow on Twitter, is talking about ProShares. ProShares is just another one. They have a bunch of ETFs. In fact, I think this might be their Bitcoin one right here, set to be launching tomorrow. Very good. The other one in play is Valkyrie. So you have ProShares and you have Valkyrie. These are two that appear to be rocking this week. Now, what you need to know about them, I'm seeing some misinformation about what this does and doesn't mean. So I want to do my best to kind of clean it all up for everyone of really what these implications are. So ETFs for the Bitcoin world has been filed as early as 2013, and I believe the first one, so what we're talking 8 years ago, by those Winklevoss twins, the guys who got screwed over in the social network when they, were outwitted in a certain way by Mark Zuckerberg himself. But this has been, my point in bringing this up is it's been a long battle, and a lot of people have been seeing this for a while. And it is important to know what is truly good about this, and I think what some people are overstating. So Bitcoin Futures ETF. So that is different from what's referred to as a spot ETF. So if you look up spot ETF, we have spot ETFs for commodities such as gold, where it's very, very close to gold. It'll be way, way closer to the actual price. And typically not in the world of crypto, it would also most likely be cheaper in terms of transaction fees. But anyway, that's getting a little bit into the nitty gritty of it. So we have a Bitcoin Futures ETF. Actually, we have two that are most likely going to go live this week. On the left side of the screen right now, I have Bitcoin trading just above 60,000, 60,267. On the right, I have the front month. So remember futures contracts, they roll by different contracts, and like you have the front month, and you could see there's certain dates on different futures of when you roll to the next contract. We could have a whole different discussion about futures later, but on the right side, I have Bitcoin futures. As you can see, slightly different. This is, without getting into too much detail, the futures market it's more of where they see it going based on whatever time frame they're looking at. So very, very similar right here. You have Bitcoin on the left, Bitcoin futures on the right. As you can see, very, very similar, but not perfectly the same, not lockstep. So when I'm talking about ProShares, when I'm talking about Valkyrie, think futures, do not think Bitcoin itself. And this is interesting because when you have an ETF, a lot of people think, okay, if I buy that, that means that you're going to be directly buying the asset that it's covering. Not necessarily. Well, actually necessarily, but think about what that means. This means that if you get a Bitcoin ETF, when you buy into that, you're actually getting them to buy Bitcoin futures, not Bitcoin itself. So $50 into this ETF doesn't mean they buy an extra $50 of Bitcoin. It means they buy an extra basically $50 of Bitcoin futures. So there is a slight difference there. They're buying the front month and then they're going to roll it appropriately to the next month as it goes through. So that is both ProShares and Valkyrie. If you look into their prospectus, they both say this. They say they are not buying Bitcoin directly. And I'm seeing a lot of assumptions out there that if you get the ETF, you're getting very direct exposure. And the difference here is basically physically settled versus cash settled. So right here, the futures, that's going to be cash settled, and it's more of an indirect ownership. While when you have the physically settled, the actual thing, that's more of the direct ownership. So right now, we are much more in the indirect ownership realm with both of these ETFs. Right now in the United States, there is not an option to get an ETF that has that direct physically settled exposure to Bitcoin. In Canada, there is, I believe the name of it is the Purpose ETF. And right now in the US, the company that is filing for it is Grayscale. And so they are looking for that direct spot ETF, and they're hoping that it'll be up and running and available to the public by the end of this year. So overall, I'm not here saying this is still very, very good for Bitcoin. I just want to make it clear that in it, you're not going to be getting that direct exposure. So in many, many indirect ways, you will get a bunch of positivity, I think. So we need that spot ETF to go right into Bitcoin, and I think that'll help. But across the board, even with these future ETFs, first of all, I think it really, really helps with public accessibility. So there's going to be many, many people out there who maybe they don't want a crypto account or anything like that, and they're just used to their Fidelity, TDA, E-Trade, whatever their brokerage is, and they're like, oh, okay, I want this exposure, I'll go to the ETF. So they have public access. A little bit on that, as we have future ETFs and normal ETFs, spot ETFs, think about the world that opens up to with IRAs. Right now in the US, IRAs account for about $12.2 trillion. So even if a small amount of money of retirement accounts now has exposure to crypto, like I'm saying, through an indirect manner, that is hugely, hugely positive for Bitcoin, and then thus positive for Bitcoin is usually positive for the overall crypto sector. On top of it, so we have public accessibility, IRA money. This is just sentiment. As regulators are starting to look into it and being like, okay, yeah, no, we understand this. There's a public demand. We can do this in a safe, regulated way. That's good sentiment. So the ball is getting rolling. Obviously, many people have been in crypto for a while. They've seen the momentum. Bitcoin, in a decade has now gone from a couple dollars all the way up to 60 grand. A lot of people in terms of price action would argue that's a huge amount of momentum, but now we're seeing momentum in regulation. We're seeing momentum from the SEC. We're seeing momentum in the US government. To me, this is amazingly good news. Obviously, I think a spot ETF would be stronger, but like I said, we're looking for that at the end of the year. But these Bitcoin futures ETFs rolling out starting tomorrow, that's the ProShares one. This is amazingly good news for Bitcoin. I'm just trying to clear up any of the confusion about, okay, you might be like, hang on, why does it always say futures? Why am I hearing about spot ETF? Overall, I think these are good. It's just more in a little bit more of a indirect mannerism that it will be benefiting Bitcoin, in my opinion. But keep your eye out, especially if you're a crypto bull, on the spot ETFs from Grayscale, hopefully by the end of this year. And just so you know, this one coming hopefully live tomorrow. Remember, the SEC does have up till midnight tonight to shut this down. That's the SEC's. It will be trading under BITO, just so we're all on the same page with that. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the fundamental development over the weekend as it relates to movie theaters and specifically AMC. So Halloween Kills opens to a killer 50.4 million despite dual Peacock launch. So this is definitely beating out expectations. Definitely beating out expectations on the top of the fact that it was also a dual release to a streaming one. Very, very interesting. $50.4 million. Hey, I mean, we're going to hear this, and I do want to bring up some things that some of your favorite mainstream media people seem to be talking about lately. This is very good. This is incredibly good. Whatever this rhetoric is of people not going to theaters, it feels like weekend over weekend over weekend. No, people are going to the theaters. Now, personally, I have yet to watch this movie myself. I've watched all the previous ones. Hey, it gets me into the Halloween fall spirit. I didn't even know they were making one. I have seen the trailer for this. I'm going to watch it. The one that, I guess, quote unquote, bombed right here, The Last Duel. Matt Damon is in it. Jodie, whatever her name, is in it, and then also Adam Driver's in it. It's kind of like a medieval battle thing. It bombed apparently, so 4.8 million domestically. So I guess people not specifically liking that movie, but they are very much liking Halloween Kills. They're very much liking James Bond. They're very much liking Venom 2. Coming up in November, I believe we have Top Gun 2. We know we're starting to see all those trailers for Eternals, the next Marvel movie. So exciting stuff ahead just in terms of the theatrical experience, and we actually have the numbers to back that up. This is once again from Unusual Whales. First 2 weeks of October, domestic industry box office grosses AMC are more than 300 million, and the biggest 14-day total since February of 2020. So it seems like all these things being set of records, we're getting out of the realm of destroying COVID pandemic records, and we're back on track of just being normal records, which is very, very interesting, makes me super excited. And for me, and beyond my devotion to AMC and the fight for market transparency and all of that, I just really like movies. I truly enjoy going to movies, so that makes me excited. And it's honestly not just AMC. We're seeing AMC setting its own company records, but also so are other theater chains, which really just shows you the strength of it. Even IMAX has been coming out and be like, this is actually the best September weekend, October weekend we've just flat out had. So a lot of people excited about that stuff. So right here, I mean, I know people are going to be telling us that the theaters are dead, and I do need Charles. I want to show you one thing that I just thought was kind of weird, but still related to this. Charles Gasparino, you folks all know that I take serious issue with him just because I think he's using his position to, for whatever reason, gain his own, I guess, social relevance. And I don't know. I think he's a liar. We know he's a liar. He's a verified liar, and he's also a verified piece of shit. And this just goes to further express all of that. So yesterday he tweeted this out. Yet another reason to stream. AMC movie theater robbery. 82-year-old has purse snatched by 3 suspects on Upper West Side. If you are using, I don't even know if I could articulate this, because if this was personally my grandmother, for someone to further their own dumb, incorrect story by like probably one of the most traumatic events for this lady, like the fact that like an 82-year-old getting robbed, and to use that as your reasoning of just like, I'm gonna fight with these apes on social media about AMC, to use such a story for some obviously elder lady, like probably a very, I would assume, traumatizing event for her, to use that simply to like needle a group of people you don't like on social media. Time and time again, this guy proves who he is. And like I said, he is a piece of shit. He, right here, God, country, pull-ups, and vodka in that order. Now, I myself don't identify as much of a religious person, but I would assume people who are religious, and apparently God being like your North Star, your moral compass. If God is your number one thing and you consider yourself to be a religious person, using the story of an 82-year-old being robbed to just like fight with other people, to be like, like I'm pointing this out, that's just scummy. Like that is like literal scum beneath your shoes. That's what that is. I think it's just so incredibly incorrect and immoral to possibly do something like this. The fact that this guy is still on news blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. So I want to bring that up to just express, when we're fighting against people, I think sometimes on mainstream media, you could be like, oh, wow, they're on mainstream media. Maybe they know what they're talking about. Maybe they have a good point here or there or whatever. No, not all of them do. Sometimes people, for whatever reason, get into the position they're in and they do not deserve it. Just because someone has a check mark, just because you see someone on TV, that does not mean that they are more correct. That does not mean that they are more moral. So if you're questioning it at all, no, sometimes people get positions of power and positions of relevance that they should not have. This guy has been proven wrong by many people. I'm talking all the way down from YouTubers all the way up to market experts. He's a liar. He's a liar. He's an intentional liar, and that's just who he is. So I want to bring that up to understand that just because someone's there and they have that, I guess, social credibility, that really doesn't make him anything special. All right, moving on. Just so you know the metrics for AMC, the short interest is 17.74%. The shares on loan is 112 million. They've already borrowed 2.25 million today, so that puts it up at 114 because we're at a net of 2.2 and a utilization of 88%. And the people who have been renting out these shares to go on loan have been in it for about 77 days, which is a hefty time to continually be paying this cost to borrow fee. In terms of GameStop, the short interest is 12.2%, utilization 36%, and shares on loan around 8.7 million. And just so you know, these shares have been on loan for about 45 days. In terms of the overall market, here's the S&P 500. Remember, we have two gaps. Potentially today, we have a little bit of weakness at the opening. I'm kind of looking for this gap fill at 442.66. I can mark that out. Not a major level in general, but just for today, okay, about $1.30 drop, looking for this gap to get filled. And then we also have the gap to the bottom side. But once again, I'm looking for that confirmation at market open. In terms of the tech heavy Qs, also a little bit of a gap down, looking for the hold at 365.70. And in terms of the Russell 2000, also a gap down. And I'm looking for this gap fill, the October 13th high of 222.70. $2.90. We're at $2.24. So what's that? About $1.30, $1.40. So all of these, like I said, seasonally, I'm going to be bullish, but that doesn't have implications on every single individual day. And right now, from a technical perspective, over the weekend, people probably got a little bit spooked about what's going on with inflation, what's going on with the supply demand bottlenecks going on in the US, oil sky high, gasoline sky high, coal sky high. There's reason to put a little bit of a break because we had a pretty solid week run. So I wouldn't be that surprised if we're just getting these gap fills taken care of and hopefully a bounce right off of that. But specifically with the SPY and the IWM, look for those gap fills and could represent a buying opportunity. That's what I'll be looking for. But as always, I want to see confirmation at market open. In terms of AMC, hey, we're gapping up just slightly. Well, not technically gap up. We're opening higher, a nice 0.2% gain. The line in the sand, the huge technical breakout comes at 41.85, a nice close above 41.85, especially on volume. I'm looking for that vacuum gap fill all the way up to 44.20. I like the MACD crossover. This thing trends. When it gets trending, it seems to trend for quite a while. So very excited. The golden question now is, how long will this momentum be sustained on AMC? GME, similar, 2 green days in the MACD. We're at 184. I want the breakout of 190, and then I'm watching the key psychological level of 200. Both AMC and GME are bending back around, so that gets me pretty excited. In terms of crypto, Bitcoin shot up, currently flat at 61,000. If you're trying to get in on Bitcoin, if you're in the US, you can download Voyager, you could check out Coinbase, you could check out Gemini. All those links are in the description of the video. And whenever you sign up and start your account and start trading on it, you will get free Bitcoin. Ethereum bouncing off of 3,700. I think when this ETF goes live, not necessarily because of the direct buying of Bitcoin, I think just that sentiment, that social sentiment of Bitcoin is now being recognized by the US government, by the SEC as like a legitimate currency, a legitimate digital-based asset class. I think we're going to see the enthusiasm potentially carry it to a new all-time high. I love Ethereum. I'm in Shiba. I'm in Matic. I'm in all of these. I love all of them. I think Bitcoin is a strong hold. Speaking of Shiba, you're looking for this breakout at 28 cents, then a breakout at, or not 28 cents, let's just call it 28 because I don't want to say the and then a breakout at 30, and then hopefully a test of 36. Matic holding very strongly above its breakout at $1.33-ish. Remember, Matic, the Matic network, Polygon, it basically is just a second layer built on top of Ethereum to make it more efficient, to allow for more transactions. So these things are going to be a little bit intertwined. Just opened up in South Korea, so that's exciting. So a lot of movement. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Let's get going. Best of luck to all. The casino is now open for the day, for the week. Let's get rocking. All right, folks. Calm, cool, collected. You know the name of the game. Let's see how things open up. Let's see where the confirmation isn't. Please check Ortex on PROG. I will. And I also have PROG over here. Remember, the 230 to 245-ish area has been tough for PROG. Look for PROG to break above and hold above 250. That becomes very exciting. And in the meantime, I will give you these Ortex numbers on it. Don't forget about ANY either, also a highly shorted stock, but more so related to crypto. So if crypto's looking strong, there's a good shot that any could be looking strong as well. So in terms of PROG, the short interest is just below 64%, utilization 99.9%, and shares on loan about 33 million. Cost to borrow sky high at 105%. Alrighty. Easiest way to buy Shiba in New York besides KuCoin, Coinbase and Gemini. Tommy's touch. Hey Matt, could I get your opinion on TSCO? I see a large gap down in February, small. Could you play a gap fill in both directions? Interview on the weekend was awesome. Hey Matt, I appreciate that. So I'll check out that chart in a bit, but just so you know, gap plays are valid in both directions. Correct. TSCO dot. All right. DKNG buy the rumor. I don't know what DraftKings DKNG, what would the rumors be? Polygon, Matic, DraftKings entering strategic blockchain agreement. I love that. I'm in Matic. I'm in DraftKings. I let you guys all know when I bought DraftKings in my longer term account. I bought it on the first attempt here around 48. So I'm looking for just this to hold. Sounds like they're getting into a strategic blockchain agreement with Polygon, which is Matic. That's the one I was telling you about. Had like the nice breakout and hold right here, trading around $1.50. I'm not going to actively trade either of those. I believe in the long-term potential of both that crypto blockchain and also DraftKings. Everything I know and read about online gambling, especially online sports gambling, up and up and up, especially as more states within the U.S. continue to legalize it. I think it's just a great long-term bet. So DraftKings, this was a couple weeks ago at the point when I bought it around 48, long-term hold. Big fan. All right, I think I am up to date with everyone there. Let's get rocking. AMC looking good, 41.20. 41.33 was just a little bit of resistance over the past couple days, but the breakout is 41.85. And like I said, a vacuum gap fell up to 44.20. So looking strong right out of the gate. I do like to wait those first 15, 20, 30 minutes. GME trading at 185. Would love to see it get above the region of supply of 188 to 190. That's recently where GME has been struggling. Paying attention to the SPY over here, though. A little bit of weakness. Bitcoin 61,500. Hey, if you want free Bitcoin, if you're just, hey, I don't know about it, and you want to start off easily, I have it right here for you. Voyager, you can get a free $25 worth of Bitcoin as soon as you deposit and trade $100 of any crypto. So here's their list of cryptos. Voyager is a nice app. Like I said, you're going to have trouble in the state of New York with it, and it's only for US residents. I like Voyager. I'm a fan of Voyager. Another option is Coinbase. Coinbase is wildly popular. If you're on Coinbase, that is in the US, you're going to have issues in Hawaii, but they also do have international option, or like they have international services depending on where you are or aren't. Coinbase also has Coinbase Pro, another very popular platform. Coinbase is like the largest crypto exchange, so that's a very serious one. Gemini is also a very serious one. That one's the Winklevoss twins. You're going to be good in the entire US with that. Also has some international options. I'm on all three. I'm on Gemini, I'm on Coinbase, I'm on Voyager. I use them all for different options, depending on what's going on, different coins, different interest payments, different staking payments. I think there's reason for me to have all three. Beyond that, those are the three that I use. But just so you know, Binance is very popular. KuCoin is very popular. Crypto.com is very popular. Gate.io is very popular. Uphold is very popular. Those are all very legitimate ones. Kraken is very popular. I just myself happen to be on Coinbase, Gemini, and Voyager. Those are the three I use, but just so you know, there are other legitimate ones. And the main wallet I use is MetaMask. Can you please check out Ortex for BBIG? Happy to. BBIG, Vinco. The shares on loan is 33.15 million, utilization 99.3%. The short interest is 25%, and the cost to borrow is 104. BBIG, I just want to see its chart really quick. BBIG, hey, look for the breakout around 850. This is BBIG showing strength. After 850, watch 950. Definitely showing some strength. SDC showing some weakness. If it cannot hold 550, look for a potential flush down to 5. It's at support now. Look for it to hold. If not, I think there's more downside on STC. ATR just not really doing much. PROG, very strong. It's right at area where it's had problems. I like this shoot up. It comes down bases. This is strength. Look for the breakout of 270. PROG, I have no position. All those ones I just did, BBIG, SDC, ATR, ANY. I do not have a position on any of them. I'm trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can. PROG, PROG, as of now, looking very strong. ANY, looking for the support at 760. You want the breakout of $859. Trying to base off of that. But ANY, PROG, and BBIG, all three of them, I do admit, look pretty nice right now. Pretty nice. All right, sweet. What is the word on fuel cell? I like the numbers. I like the stock. Any advice on a profits going in AMC bought 2010, but 2000, wait, 2010, 29, 7. I don't quite know the date that you're talking about on fuel cell there. But fuel cell, I mean, I'm bullish on the EV sector. I don't know if there was news on it. The chart is looking good, a lot of strength. Little bit chasey. A nice opportunity would have been here 625, maybe 670. Definitely the opportunity was there to get in sub 7. If you want to play this breakout, it's trying to break out literally as we speak. That's good. Just make a bet according to whatever your risk is. For me personally, remember, not a financial advisor, not a lawyer, not a fortune teller. You are in charge of your own money. You should not be copying anyone on social media. If you're looking to a Redditor, a Twitter twatter, a Discorder, a YouTuber to make your trades, that is not good. That means you're not learning your own skill set. Remember, those people, they don't know what your account's at. You got to be trading for yourself. So all I can do is share my opinions, but at the end of the day, you're an adult, you're in control of your own money. Fuel cell, my own opinion, I like it. I like the sector. I like EV a lot. I don't think EV is necessarily a quick trade. I think it's a hold to probably at least the end of the decade. Everything I'm reading about EV is we're just looking for technology to get to the point where mass adoption goes, we hit that inflection point and it just takes off. Right now, or actually last year, in terms of new vehicle global sales, EVs was about 2%. We're looking for that. It is trending upward. But I think around 2024, 2025, 2026, we're going to hit that inflection, the technical inflection, where EVs finally come down to a price parity with common gasoline and diesel-based vehicles. And at that point, I think we see the demand inflection take off. So I'm looking for about halfway through the decade for EV to really get going. And then I think it'll just sail until the end of the decade. So for me, I'm not actively trading in and out of many EV positions. I think it's just a nice hold, longer term hold, especially for the end of the decade. All right, so I like fuel cell from a technical perspective, cup, handle. Just be mindful of your risk. You're looking for this breakout where it's at right now. Would love for it to clear 850. After that, I'd watch pretty much $10, then 11, and then 1250, basically all of the recent relative highs. Wall Street bets, the most number one discussed one on Wall Street bets is Tesla. Tesla. And I mean, I've been calling out Tesla ever since it was like right back in here. I was like, this is coiling for a move, and we're getting exactly that move. Not too far off from its literal all-time high. Wow, Tesla is just looking nice. Very, very nice looks on Tesla. Holy guacamole, Batman. Tesla's all-time high is around 900. We are at 860. So I would not be surprised if it has to take a little bit of a breather, let the RSI cool off, make a base, and on the next move, we end up pushing that 900 level. Would not be surprised in the slightest. Tesla, it's running again. The movement in Tesla has helped, I guess, Elon retain or put more distance in him being the world's richest person. Like there's quite a bit of distance between him and number two, Jeff Bezos right now, because of Tesla's movement. A lot of his wealth, it's not just numbers in a bank account. His wealth is associated with how much Tesla he owns, and thus his wealth is then tied to the current price of Tesla stock. Looking great. Just be careful of the gaps below it. This is quite a run. I think the opportunity on Tesla right now, if you miss the current run up, wait for it. Wait for it to take a breather. Wait for it to breathe, base. When it bases and starts to pick up again, that is your sniper opportunity to hopefully, fingers crossed, and of course, there's always going to be risks involved, but that's your sniper opportunity to play it to a new all-time high. If you miss this, do not chase it. Obviously, do what you want, but chasing, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. And one of the times it's not going to work, you're going to get burned and you're going to lose all your profits that you got on all your previous chasing. Tesla, if you're not in it yet, wait for it, breathe, base, come up from that basing, you see that little demand, and then that's your opportunity to take your shot. At least that's how I view it. If you want to chase, hey, I wish you the best of luck. If you're watching right now, as long as you're not betting against me, I hope you crush it. If you want to chase, have at it. We all have different mindsets on how the market can be played. Whatever you end up doing, I hope you crush it. That's just how I view the current Tesla situation. But just so you know, Tesla being the company it is and Elon being the guy he is, that's very, very beneficial. On top of it, though, you get that social sentiment push right now of Wall Street bets. All right, we are watching AMC 4185, that breakout and the hold of that breakout. Reason for celebration. Huge reason for celebration at that level. Why are the Webull and Fidelity GME tickers not matching? I don't know. Fidelity depends. Like, you might not have up-to-date data. Well, that could also actually be said with Webull, depending on like what package you do or don't have. Very important to know if you have real-time data or delayed data. But I see no reason to be on something like Robinhood or Webull. Maybe you like Webull for the charting. Maybe you like Webull to see the options chain. But there's better brokerages out there. I mean, myself, I know I've been on Webull. I was at the start of the year. After that, or Robinhood. After that, I then transferred to Webull. But myself, this is a learning process for me. As I learn more and more, I now realize all of our trades being executed off exchange is not good for us. It's not good for the markets. That's why I'm happy to be on something like Public, where if you look into it, they're like, hey, we send your orders for a lit exchange. We don't do payment for order flow. I'm a fan of our orders being routed to on exchange venues. I'm talking the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, IEX. There's about 14 major lit exchanges. That's what I'm supportive of. And with Public, I know that it's going to a lit exchange, so I'm happy to do it. Just so you know, you can do that on Fidelity. You can do that on TDA. Any of those ones, though, you can't just use them. You have to go out of your way to actively route your orders. So pick your route. If you want to route it to the NASDAQ, if you want to route it to IEX, the New York Stock Exchange, hey, whatever you want to route it to, just make sure, just understand if you're on Fidelity, if you're on TDA, it's not good enough to just be using them. Like, whenever you're trading, you have to like intentionally pick your order route. Public, I just think it's a little bit easier because like you don't have to pick your route. You know it's going to a lit exchange. At least that's what like their documentation says. And as of now, I have like no reason to believe that they're like lying to us or anything like that. It just seems easier. I think the biggest drawback of Public is that they don't have options. So that could be a good thing. I think a lot of people that are like, oh, okay, like they don't want to trade options anyway. They find that like when they trade them, they end up losing money. So like maybe that's a good way to like help yourself, is if you know you shouldn't be trading options, well, go to a brokerage that doesn't even allow options. So you're not going to be tempted. But if you're an options trader, I would say check out TDA. I'm just a fan of the Thinkorswim platform. Webull ticker on not moving, topped at 808, put it on Twitter, seems to be everyone issue, not sure what is going on. I'm not sure either. Probably another good reason to not be on Webull. Any news on NXTD? I don't know even what NXTD is. NXTD. No, split. It looks like, a stock split. That's the news on NXTD, stock split. What do you think about Palantir, $5 November, trying to dabble in options, trying to learn better than reading about it? NFA, PLTR, how's Palantir looking? I'm a fan of Palantir, a long-term fan. November 3rd. I mean, I like it. I see strength. I see higher lows. I like that as a resistance level. I think it's a reasonable play. Like, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee anything, but I think the odds are in your favor. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that the Webull tickers are like kind of messed up today. might just, like, it sounds like they're having an overall technical issue, and that happens. It definitely does happen. Can you, all right, we did that. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Once again, what's up with SPY Webull? So it sounds like a lot of people are just seeing incorrect numbers currently being displayed on Webull today. It sounds like overall all of their things. It's not like an individual ETF or equity. It sounds like all their numbers. It sounds like they're just having technical issues. So I hope if you're on it, like for everyone's sake, I hope obviously it gets resolved as expediently as possible. Maybe looks like it just fixed itself. So maybe try killing the app and then reopening it, closing it down, reopening it. It sounds like a very basic tech issue that I'm sure they'll have resolved. Did your trade to public ever finalize? Mine only took a few days. I know yours is pushing 10. Will they cover the $75 fee? I believe they are covering the $75 fee. Let me, thank you for reminding me. I need to check what my transfer is doing. It is still not hit. I don't know how it's not hit. Wow. Why is my transfer taking forever? This is kind of a bummer. Huh. I don't know why it's not. So I'll keep you updated on that. So for me, and to my understanding, I need to fairly say that if you do it this way, there could be additional tax implications. So that's something everyone should consider. But in terms of expediency, it was way, way faster for me to just get additional money into the account and buy. Rather than transferring. At least that's my own experience. Some people are saying it was very, very quick for them. I'm just frustrated at the length. So I feel like I'm probably at the 10 days now, or maybe upon today's conclusion, I'll be fully at the 10 days. I wanted to do both simultaneously. But now I'm seeing even a different interface when I was like previously checking it. I'll have to dive into this later and see what's going on. I'm just transferring my stocks to public. Yeah, it just says it's in transit. I mean, I still see them in Webull. Let me open this up. I see all of my stocks still actively in Webull. But public says that it's there. You need to contact customer service in order to turn off share lending for public. If you don't, their clearinghouse Apex will allow share lending. You need to. Well, there's customer service, but it's like a chatbot. It's like super, super easy on public to turn off your share lending. Did you transfer? Okay, so mine did not finalize. Just waiting on that. I believe today is day 10. I do believe that. I also want to add Tesla over here because this thing is ripping. 860, geez. The high is like 900. I think that thing just could keep trucking forward. Does public offer option trading? No, it does not. Is there a way we could see level 2 on TradingView? No. I don't believe they have it, but just so you understand, if you're looking at level 2 on Webull, it's not overly helpful to you because that is the level 2 of just the New York Stock Exchange. That's one of 14 major lit exchanges. So you're not even getting a full breakdown. They're on other platforms such as like I think TDA, I know on Interactive Brokers, you can actually see like kind of all of the major level 2s. Which is a little bit more insightful. Just to see the New York Stock Exchange, not that helpful. I do want to talk about the new rule 7.13, the New York Stock Exchange saying that they want to stop trading for 2 days of an individual stock. First of all, that's weird to me. I am definitely a proponent of if something is going to stop trading, I think we just need to be in the same ship. If it's not trading, it shouldn't be trading anywhere for anyone. If it is trading, it should be trading everywhere for everyone. I think it should be fully binary. You can't just buy, you can't just sell. It's either the party's fully on or it's not on at all. I hate this in between thing. But with that being said, I saw it on Twitter and Reddit over the weekend. People are grossly overstating what it does or doesn't mean. They're saying if the New York Stock Exchange stops the trading for 2 days, that means all of our trades are going to a dark pool. And right away, obviously, you guys know that gets my blood pressure boiling because so many people within this community still do not know what a dark pool is or isn't and what it does or doesn't do. I see other creators that have serious followings that still do not understand dark pools. That I cannot make this more explicitly clear. That is harmful to our community. Anyone who's putting out the rhetoric of trading on a dark pool does not impact price, they have not taken the half hour of research it needs to know that that is a falsehood. Anyway, I digress. If we stop the trading on the New York Stock Exchange, if this rule is somehow allowed, that does not mean that all trading occurs on a dark pool. Remember, there's still 13 other lit exchanges. So that doesn't mean I'm a fan of the rule. I think just people are overstating what it means. If the rule does go through, I think it's a stupid rule. I don't necessarily understand it. Maybe I need to dive more into it. But just understand that's one lit exchange. We have 13 other lit exchanges. There's still 2 market makers, and there's still all those 60 plus dark pools. So you can't say if this rule goes through, that means retail is screwed and all trades are being occur then on a dark pool for those 2 days. That's a improper understanding of the situation. Once again, I don't like the rule. My understanding of the rule, it's something that I'm not supportive of. But please understand, they're not closing down all lit exchanges. It's one of 14 for those 2 days. You buy share on dark pool brokerage, share doesn't go to exchange, that affects price. I don't know what that means. If you, and this is another thing that's being overstated, is that retail can't trade on dark pools. We can trade on some dark pools. That's an option. It's a routing option. If you're looking at things like Fidelity, TDA, Interactive Brokers, one of your options will be some of the dark pools, or a dark pool. There are some member-only dark pools that we do not have access to, but you can trade on dark pool. It's not exclusively for institutions. If you trade on a dark pool, trades that are executed on a dark pool have a material impact on price. You can take that to the bank. I speak about this so confidently, and I'm not worried about stepping on other apes' toes because I know I'm right on this. I've done the research. I've done the DD. I've talked to exchanges. I've talked to those guys at IEX. I've talked to market structure experts such as Dave Lauer. I've put in the research. When it comes to dark pools, and me just that one sentence that trading on a dark pool has a material impact on price, it's just right. This isn't an opinionated thing. I wish I could talk to a market maker. No market maker ends up responding to me. But hey, if you're a market maker listening right now, come on. We would love to have an interview. I would kill to have an interview with a market maker. How do you turn off share lending on public? There's a contact. It's like an automated AI chat bot that you could reach out to. And so not just the dark pool thing, but just in general, I do implore everyone, if you have an extra 7 minutes of your day, or if you want to watch it on double speed, an extra 3.5 minutes of the day, the video I posted last night, titled, this is going to piss some people off. And it did. It definitely pissed some people off, but I don't know. If there's any questions about my thoughts, hey, I'm here. I'm more than happy to discuss my thoughts on this entire scenario. But just briefly, I mean, seriously, aren't you just getting tired of how this is going right now? Over the past 10 months, do I regret any of it? No, because it got us to this point. It grew the ape nation to millions of people, and the collective hive mind knowledge went through the roof. But to me, we cannot keep doing the same thing and expect different results. We need to be more mature. We need to be more focused. We need to be more articulate. We cannot come to government officials or regulators with weak arguments. We will be laughed at, and it's embarrassing to us as a community if we get so fortunate that one day someone who can potentially argue for us, lobby for us to create change, if the first thing they hear is dark pool manipulation, they're going to reach out to experts. The experts are going to be like, this community doesn't know what they're talking about, and we're going to lose our opportunity. If that's a weak argument, dark pools are a very weak argument. Convertible bonds, weak argument. Brazilian BDRs, weak argument. Odd lot theory, weak argument. Short ladder attack, weak argument. If we come with a weak argument, we are not going to change what we want to get changed. We are not going to make the playing field of Wall Street. It's going to remain tilted if we go with that type of, it's just, we need to be more mature. We need to be more articulate. We need to be more informed. We have to be on the same page of what's going on. I think you hear about those. And like I said, that's why I titled the video, I'm going to piss people off. There are so many people out there who want the Reddit upvotes, who want the Twitter likes and retweets, and want the YouTube views because they see it. They see it's trending. They're like, hey, everyone's talking about dark pools. I'm going to hop on the bandwagon with borderline zero research and just make something that confirms to everyone's bias. That is not good. It's not good in the slightest. We need to be more informed. And for me, like, I'm going to do what I can do. If there's certain apes that want to come along with like the specific moon gang journey, what I'm attempting to do is this. It's very much this. And I honestly think it's simple. I think we come up with the best, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arguments. We get the research. We get market structure experts to be on our side. We get exchange owners, operators, presidents to be on our side. We need to bring this up like a very legitimate, borderline and potentially actually legal battle, and we present our case to as many government senators, representatives, officials as we possibly can, and we express to all of them that this is in no way a one-sided political argument. Right now, before when I was talking about dipshit Charlie using probably one of the most traumatic events of that 82-year-old lady's life of her getting robbed, he's pushing the narrative, specifically him, he is pushing the narrative that this is anti-Republican. It is not anti-Republican. This is not pro-Republican. This is not anti-Democrat. This is not pro-Democrat. This is pro people who are trying to make positive change and improve the stock market. That's what this is. This is not one-sided. In the past, 8 years, whatever this is, past 1, 2, 3 political cycles, I don't think we've seen something that is so absurdly bipartisan. This is a layup for everyone involved in government, whether they want to do it because they truly want to improve the world, or if they just want to do it because they're trying to make a voter base happy and just get reelected. I don't really care. But our argument can resonate with so many different people trying to get the next political seat. In the US, we are a large voting bloc, a very large voting bloc across the board in many states and many different localities. we have a voice. We need to use it appropriately. Our voice cannot die and end at the hottest, like, trending hashtag or the most popularly upvoted Reddit or the most viewed video. I think we just need to be more serious. And like I said, do I think the pathway on which we got here was wrong and would I redo it? Absolutely not, because it got us here. We got to a very impressive point, but I don't want to stop here. Like, we're not at the top of the mountain of where we can go. This came out in the interview with Mark Kohrs. This came out in my video yesterday. I think it starts with demanding an informal, financially, like a forensic financial dive into what happened in January with GameStop, AMC, and all these other stocks that were moved to position close only. I said this in the video, but I'll reiterate it now. I think it starts with demanding the communication and the nature of all communication between the government, Citadel Securities, and Robinhood. We move on from that. I don't know how that investigation will play out. And then that opens the door for us to fight for legitimate things. Payment for order flow is a symptom, but we need to argue that the duopoly of Citadel Securities and Virtu is not healthy for the market. If we are reliant on essentially one party, Citadel Securities, to provide liquidity when everything goes, like when shit hits the fan, that is not a good scenario. It is not a good scenario in the slightest. A symptom of that is payment for order flow. We want more trades to be successfully executed on lit exchanges. The higher the volume on lit exchanges, in my opinion, and in many people's highly informed opinion, the healthier the market. The people who would argue against it, they're going to be bitching about trade execution, trade quality. It's a red herring. It's an erroneous argument. There's not much quantitative data backing their position. In fact, the data is opposite of what they're saying. Beyond that, settlement time, we have the technology. There's no more need for it to be T2. I would argue that a lot of the manipulation and loopholes that are found, the legal loopholes that are being exploited, it's a function of them abusing the settlement time. There's no reason we do not have instantaneous settlement. I could talk about 13Fs, longs, calls, puts, all reported. Why not shorts? Let's get it all out there for anyone who's managing over $100 million, which is already the prerequisite for 13F filings. Fails to deliver. I want a higher quality FTD report. There's no reason we get it so slowly. It takes a while. It's always like a month behind at best, and there's no details of it. We don't know what the type of FTD was. It just says, here's the FTD. But remember, FTD, failure to deliver, it's more of an umbrella term, and there's various types of FTDs. And yes, naked shorting is one of those, but I would argue that the naked shorting that the quote unquote average ape thinks is going on is not actually the type of naked shorting going on. And my reasoning for that is right here. Does no one out there like question these other creators when they're like, oh, billions and billions and billions of naked shorts, but yet the fail to deliver on AMC was 150,000. And we know that naked shorts are a type of fail to deliver, as in the number would be here. No one's questioning it. No one's calling them out on it or anything. The issue is this, and this is, you might need to listen to it 2 or 3 times. Market makers are essentially finding a mechanism that allows them to naked short, or really, I guess you could argue that prime brokers and hedge funds are pulling it off too. But the reason it's not coming up in an FTD report is because it's not a blatant FTD. It's not a hedge fund calling up a prime broker saying, let me go short. They don't locate the shorts, but they go short anyway. That would show up in the FTD report. The issue is it's more of super... Right now, it's the abuse of a loophole. They're saying it's all in the options. If you look at deep in the money puts, deep out of the money calls, it's within the options market that they are creating net positions in options and then using that. And to really get the mechanism of how that plays out, Mark Kohrs explained it to the T of how they do it. It's more so an abuse within the options market than directly shorting. And also remember, speaking just about market makers, I'm not talking about hedge funds right now. They're allowed to naked short whenever they want. They have short exempt. Market makers, in the effort to sustain an efficient market and provide liquidity, they have the freedom to short whenever they want. They do not have to locate shares. It's far beyond just a hedge fund calling up and shorting and shorting and shorting. The issue, I think, people are way too focused on hedge funds, and I think it's because Hollywood has played up hedge funds. We all know what a hedge fund is. It's more easy to understand. I would strongly argue our bigger issue are prime brokers and market makers. I think hedge funds are bad, like some of them. Like, I think there's good hedge funds. I think there's bad hedge funds, like many things in life. But if we were to point out what I think is more so damaging to the market, it would definitely start at market makers and prime brokers before hedge funds. And I think people who are diving into the data and the nature of the scenario are quickly on board with that notion. PDT, the $25,000 thing in the US, I mean, I don't have to explain that to all of you. How many of you listening right now have not been able to get out of a trade because of PDT? You wanted to lock in profits, you wanted to take a smaller loss, but you can't, and you have to swing it to the next day, and you lose out on profits, or you sustain a bigger loss because you're not able to get out of your position. I would argue to smaller retail traders, smaller retail investors, pattern day trading is actually more so damaging. I looked into why it was created. Of course, they're going to argue that it was created in an attempt to protect retail, but I don't see how, because myself included, so many people have the same story of pattern day trading has cost me money because I could not get out of positions I wanted to get out of. And that's just the start of it. And to my understanding, when I had the opportunity to speak with those two guys, the president and chief market guy over at IEX, it's slow moving. The way the SEC moves, those are what, 5 things I listed, 4 things, 6 things, I don't know. In the next couple of years, it's a serious fight. Like, it takes time to get one of those things to pass. So that laundry list of things that we just view as representative of Wall Street being a tilted battlefield, it's going to take a while. And that's how I define winning. I define winning as us improving those things. I know many of you define us winning as AMC and GME squeezing to the absolute moon, and I'm right there with you. But I think I define winning as improving the market for ourselves, making it more fair, more transparent for ourselves and future generations. And I think strongly there's a good statistical chance of us being successful in that fight. A side effect is the squeeze. So I'm there with you, but I guess I would take the fight to the next level. And that fight is what I'm prepared to dedicate my career to. I know many other people out there, they're like, hey, like, I hope you're successful. That's not my fight. That's fine. And I know many others of you are like, no, that's exactly the fight I want to be in. And you're going to be in the trenches with you and with me. And we're going to be fighting side to side. And hey, I truly, truly appreciate that. And it's going to be a battle. I mean, if you thought the last 10 months was a arduous ordeal, I think the next 10 months, the next 10 years could be even more of a fight. But I'm always of the mindset that if you notice something that is just systematically wrong, and there's people lying, cheating, abusing the current system, and you believe that to your core, you don't just sit back and say, I hope someone fixes that. Sometimes you got to look around and be like, oh, wait, are we the community that actually fixes that? Yeah, I'm 27. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I don't understand what the battle is, but also you got to start somewhere. I mean, think about how much we've learned exclusively about AMC and GameStop in the next 10 months, as we have millions of people dedicating a portion of their day to what I would argue is a very, very good fight. I can't imagine where we would be when you extrapolate a couple years forward. Yeah, maybe I'm a little too excited. Maybe I'm a bit too naive about how the world really does or doesn't work. But I guess rather be naive and put in effort into the fight than to be like a callous pessimist and be like, the world's fucked up and there's no way we're going to fix it. This is just how it is. If in general, our society and our culture took that mindset, do you realize how like far back in our progression as a society and as a culture we would actually be for some very, very horrific things that society stood up and fought against and we improved? If everyone just took that mindset of like, nah, that's bad, but we're not going to fix it because the world sucks, we wouldn't have completed anything that we've completed. Like very, very impressive results that just bettered mankind. And you got to do it. All I know is you got to start somewhere. Of course, there's going to be twists and turns and we're going to take missteps, but you got to start somewhere. Like, what's that saying? Every journey starts with a step. That's all this is. This is just an additional step, and you got to see how it plays out. It's been a month at least, and public still hasn't accepted my application. I would maybe just reapply. Maybe something. I'm still awkwardly waiting for my transfer. FIGS, I saw there was a 34% short interest and Citadel was shorted. Could you check the Ortex? Tell me where it comes to mind. Matt, you said that Citadel was shorted. How did you know that Citadel was short? We don't know who Citadel, the hedge fund, is short at all because they don't have to report short positions. I guess you could look at the longs, the calls, and the puts, but we don't know the name unless they publicly state it, and at that point then you have to trust that they're telling you the truth. We don't know who is short what because those are not publicly reported. But I will happily check the short interest for you, at least the estimated short interest on FIGS. It is 14%, not that high for stock that I don't see being discussed that much. The utilization is 81. Shares on loan is 14 million. I don't think FIGS is necessarily a viable short squeeze play. Man, the market looking strong. Strong. Please read my Twitter DM, Wool Rage. I've been having DM issues. You could try DMing again and hopefully it'll come to the top, but I seem to be getting DMs in batches many days late. Remember, Matt, a person isn't dumb, but people are stupid. But that with this new rule, if they freeze on the New York Stock Exchange, wouldn't that mean brokers like Robinhood or Webull would be frozen as you can't change the routing? No, not at all. Not at all. With the New York Stock Exchange rule, for things such as Robinhood and Webull, there's no impact because they're not trading on the New York Stock Exchange. They're trading at Citadel Securities. This would stop the trading exclusively on that one exchange, not for the entire market. So that's why I think people are fear-mongering with this New York Stock Exchange rule. To be very, very clear, am I a fan of the rule? No, I think it's silly, but also I think they're overstating what it does or doesn't do. Remember, Robinhood, Webull, you're trading at a market maker. You're not trading on a lit exchange at all. I'm sad I had to sell a fourth of my AMC due to some unexpected expenses. Grateful I could do it for my family, though. Keep it up, Matt Kohrs. Shout out Oil Field Trash. And hey, right there, I mean, you never know what's going on in people's lives. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. What don't you get, Matt? Dark equals scary. Dark pool equals scary pool. Ain't got to be a smarty pants to figure that out. Working on moving Robinhood shares AMC to FD. Half my stack is in transfer profits. I try to buy some more AMC on Robinhood this AM and got a message I can't trade that instrument. Could be because of the transfer like actively going through. Ortex on fuel cell. Happy to. I think a lot of people are asking me just like generically for the short interest. Chasing short squeeze plays is, in my experience, not a good methodology. I don't think there's a continuous pattern that could be like really, I guess, traded upon time over time that's net profitable. I think it's way better to look for stocks that you like for whatever time frame, short, medium, long, buying at support and riding it up, not necessarily being like, hey, I think this is going to squeeze some of the market out and cause a squeeze. Like squeeze some of the shorts out. It's just squeezes, they do happen, but I think with the insanity of AMC and Jimmy, that's gotten some people wired to think that they happen all the time and they're super commonplace when they're not. It's just, we hear short squeeze, and it's just, I think social media, that's kind of one of its downfalls, is it's greatly overstating how much it actually happens. With that being said, fuel cell does have a short interest of 17.5%. The cost to borrow is 1%. Utilization pretty low at 31%. Shares on loan 60 million. If you like fuel cell, I think you should like it because of the industry it's in and like the fundamentals, not because you're like, oh, this is going to squeeze. PROG at 250. PROG is looking good. That's a net. Look at this. Rejected 245, 245, 245, but finally breaking out. Broke out, maybe at bases. Watch for the break at 270. Congrats if you're crushing PROG. I think you should do a collab with Claybro. He streams Market Close, and I think the warm handoff would make people less pissy about you no longer doing an afternoon stream. PS, love you. I mean, it's really none of my business if people are pissy at me or not. That's their own thoughts. I mean, if people can have their own opinions, and I guess with that, I mean, I know Claybro. I like what he does. I think he has some good content out there, but also with mine, my current assumption right now is that one day, hopefully sooner rather than later, I will be streaming Power Hour once again. I just need to get some of the equipment and technical things figured out on my end, and I'll be using the morning show to get the show to the level I want it to be at. And then when the show is at that level, I will be doing a Power Hour stream. That is my current going plan. Like I said, I don't have a date for you. It's impending. It's just more of like, I need to get stuff shipped here. It's in the mail right now. And then I need to get this setup working. And then I need to improve some of the layout stuff. I mean, as you guys see, it feels like my camera is like having a seizure some of these days. So just some things that I need to get ironed out. And then from there, the goal for me in the short term, and I'm talking about the next 3 to 6 months, is to create a morning show and a Power Hour show. And then Kohrs Light will be the clips from the show. And I'll do like the wrap ups and everything in the show. But it just kind of dawned on me, hey, you gotta commit to being the best finance live streamer you can possibly be. And I think I could grow it and grow it and grow it. So for me, it's invest back into the channel, invest into producers, editors, graphic designers, some music people, all that stuff. It's just taking it to the next level. I don't want my words that I say to you to be empty. I don't want to say anything I wouldn't do myself. So when I'm saying that we need to be more mature, focused, articulate, and serious and informed, sometimes you got to lead by example. And I want to do that myself by more countless hours into research, more countless hours into putting the best show together I can possibly put together. Sometimes you got to lead by example. So I can't just sit here and say, hey, do this, this, and this, more mature, informed, focused. Yeah, that all sounds great. But it's one thing to say it. I think it's another thing for me to be like, oh, he himself is also doing that. So that's kind of my goal. The doctor disrespect of finance. I would, if that's something I could aspire to. I mean, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Dr. Disrespect. He is in the world of live streaming. Like, I know he's in the gaming sector. I think he's one of the best live streamers, period. Like, you don't even have to say gaming live streamer. If I could become even a reasonable percentage of what I view his skill set and his production to be, I would be a very, very happy camper. In terms of a business model, I aspire to be as good and as humorous. And like, we're in completely different sectors. Obviously, I'm in finance, he's in gaming, but I learned a lot from him. I learned such an incredible amount just from his natural talent as a streamer, but also the way he owns and operates his business. I thoroughly look up to him. And he's next level. Someone just said Doc's next level. I know. And I use him as a blueprint. Okay, he's next level. I appreciate his content. Then I look at it like, okay, how can I bring me to the next level? And it's weird because in the world of finance, the next level finance people happen to be on mainstream media. They don't really live in the world of like YouTube and Twitch and Rumble. So it's kind of weird and it's exciting. It's weird and it's exciting because I feel like I get to write some of the rule book on how this plays out. And I'm using like these, I guess, somewhat related blueprints of very successful people such as Ludwig, Dr. Disrespect, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tapman. I mean, I hold all of those guys in the highest regard. I remember calling out $10 a few weeks ago as of late to the game fuel play. Fuel cell, I mean, it's strong EV play. Hey, Matt, I have roughly 2,500 shares. What do you think of the ideal number to sell at would be? Not a number. My ideal is like, ideally, you're trying to top tick the short squeeze. Like, you're trying to top tick the highest price you're going to be offered on the market. I don't think just saying, oh, this number is it, because I don't know. And no one knows. When you're looking at a short squeeze, a gamma squeeze, and FOMO buying, those three things together are hard enough to compute themselves. And then when you put them together and then the interplay between the three, it's borderline impossible to know like, oh, it's going to go to this price. And even if you had that mathematical model, it would change every single second because the short interest, the option chain, and the amount of people interested in the stock changes every single second, every single microsecond. So I'm not in the game of price prediction and I'm not in the game of date predictions because I think it leads to unmet expectations. I just don't think it's worthwhile. Have to say thank you. Your interview and follow-up video over the weekend really hits the nail on the head, brother. Keep moving in that direction. Find the true Ape Nation peeps and organize. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you, Nicholas. Matt, if and when AMC squeezes, do you think they would attempt to stop the buy button again? They could. I mean, I very much hope that they don't. They could definitely stymie it if they do that again, but that's another good reason to get on a legitimate, what I would consider a more legitimate brokerage. Obviously, Robinhood and Webull are legitimate. People, you can trade. It is legitimate. But remember, when they stop the buying, and then I tell people, oh, remember, every single trade has a buyer and a seller. They're like, well, how did AMC continue to trade? And it's because it was stopped on certain brokerages. Other brokerages, you can easily still buy and sell. So the more well-respected of a brokerage you're on, the more of the statistical likelihood that you're going to be on a brokerage that doesn't get hit with those same like weird PCO rules. I don't think they're going to do it again. Both Robinhood and Webull are more, they're more well capitalized now. So they have more money backing them and they have more money sitting at the NSCC. Remember all those NSCC, DTCC rules, all the liquidity. There's more money in the system, so it's less likely. But I didn't even know they would do it the first time around. Like, I didn't even know that was a possible thing. And then even Mark Kohrs said that in his like 3+ decades of trading, he's never seen a one-sided thing like that ever occur before. So like, I can't say here and be like, nope, we're completely good, never going to happen, because the thing that happened the first time, like, it was purely insane. I think it's very, very low, but I can't say we are perfectly good. Matt, I want to buy $600 more worth. I think you should buy now or wait to see if it goes below resistance. Well, we're always below resistance. That's what resistance is. And then you break out to the next level of resistance. Caesar, it depends. If you're in this for the short term, and you're just trying to like get into a good value, okay, well, then you have to get closer to support. But if you strongly believe in the squeeze, well, if you think this thing is going to squeeze to kingdom come, what's the difference between 35, 40, 45, 50? If you're very, very confident in the likelihood of a sky high value, there's no sense in like saving a couple cents, no pun intended, at this moment in time. So it depends on your time frame and your vision of where this will or won't go. What levels am I watching today? I'm looking for the breakout of 41.85. That's the major level I'm paying attention to on AMC. Major level, 41.85. I think from there, we have the vacuum gap fill up to 44.20. Thanks for the update, Matt. You're doing the right thing, fine-tuning your show. Good job. I can see the show Dumb Money with Matt on a network. It will fill a void. You know what's kind of exciting for me? And even this, we have about 11,000 people in here. Sometimes we have more, sometimes we have less. And the concept of a network, I mean, folks, like, we could be our own network. With the rise in technology and how easy it is to make your own platform, previously, even a decade ago, not even, like what, half a decade ago, you kind of had to be intertwined with mainstream media to have a large media presence. But now, that is not true at all. Like, you could be your own self-starter. I'm just here on YouTube. If there's enough demand for it, if I provide enough value and create a good enough show, I don't necessarily need to be attached to any of the whatever it is, to Fox, CNBC, CNN, MSNBC, ABC. You don't, with technology now, like for me, if I have a YouTube account and as long as I'm not getting banned or terminated, I'm ready to rock. I could be on Twitch, I could be on Rumble, I could be on whatever it is. And to me, the growth, the exponential and growth in technology, it makes it so exciting because it's so easier to create and be connected with a full-fledged digital-based community. As internet spreads throughout the world, as like I said, as I improve my own skill set and provide more and more value, it just expands, and you're not really beholden to some big mainstream media Goliath. And I think that's honestly interesting. And beneficial, because I think when it comes to mainstream media, there's very, very few that don't have a political connotation. Very, very few. And when you do it, as soon as you're tied to a particular, in the US, as soon as you're tied to a particular political party, the other 50% of the country just automatically doesn't like you. But for me, I think we're all fighting for that 99%. So if I'm fighting for 99%, it seems to me as a poor business move to piss off the other 50%. I don't want to have a political influence. I want to speak my mind. I don't want to have to come to scripts and be like, this is what the party's saying. Here's where the network's going. You got to say these lines. That's not my deal. If I want to be able to call out bullshit wherever I see bullshit. And I just get so excited because with technology, with YouTube, with Twitch, with the Rumble, any of them, it's possible. If you're good enough, you can just go. I mean, look at the rise of people we were talking about, Dr. Disrespect, people like XQC, people like Joe Rogan. They run their own show and they are massive. They are gigantic, and it wasn't mainstream media that got them to that level. All right, AMC is looking very good, and hopefully before this explosion, let's do a quick crypto check. Bitcoin, 62K. Man, Bitcoin is looking good. Ethereum bouncing off of 3,700, pushing 3,800. Matic looking good. Shiba trying to get its breakout. Bitcoin check. Crypto is good. Do not forget, if you're just joining into the show now, one of the first US Bitcoin-based, crypto-based ETFs going live tomorrow. It is the futures contract. It's not a spot ETF, but hey, we're one step closer to where we want to be. So, awesome. Let's check Tiblio. Let's see what's going on in the markets. Then we'll check some flow. I like to do some of this stuff at 10:30, but first, hey, everyone, nice coffee break. Quick coffee break. All right, let's see where it's at. Fuel cell. Whoa. Interesting. So fuel cell getting a huge, whoa. 5x its normal. Fuel cell. This is worth a second look, folks. The options chain. All right, fuel cell. Easy peasy lemon breezies. breaking out. It's at resistance, aka breaking out as we speak, around 850. Look for it to hold that. From there, you're looking at 960. Look for $1. And if it really gets like flexing, I'm talking like full Hulk Hogan, oh brother type flexing, watch 1120. It's nice. And look at this. Tiblio calling it out. Shout out to Tiblio, always telling us where the interesting plays are at. Let's check out F. 57%. So great bullish flow, some sort of fundamental driver, abnormal options plays. Crazy. Tiblio is currently recommending. Tiblio's recommendation is the 950 for roughly mid-November. That's their current recommendation. Wow. This one is so, like, look at the numbers, just so much bigger. RLX is up there, PAR is up there. I don't know what Albertsons C's is up there, but it does seem like in terms of a bull play, Fuel Cell is kind of like the exciting one. Bearish, STLA. Let's just check out STLA to see what's going on there. STLA, doesn't really excite me. Just the chart, I don't know, looks choppy. But Fuel Cell, I think there's even stronger now basis to be excited about it. PROG looking good, shoots up, bases, lets the RSI cool off. Looking for the intraday break of 255, but then watch 270. PROG, the line in the sand for all my PROGs. Let's call you guys the PROGs. All the pros out there. You're watching 270. PROG, it has the numbers to do something crazy. But first, you need that price action. You need that breakout. Speaking of intraday breakouts, AMC is on its way to major resistance at 41.85. Currently 41.60. Right there. 41.85. This is huge. This is huge. Look at this level right here. This is the high from 3 separate times, basically like the second half of September. We break above this, hopefully on volume. We have low volume thus far. I would rather see high volume, but we might get the high volume upon this breakout. I like the MACD. I'm looking for the technical breakout. And then I have this white rectangle for that gap fill play up to 44.20. All right, let's switch over to the 3. All right. CRDL, take a peek. What's your opinion? CRDL, looking strong. The MACD is about to cross over. Risk a little far away. Not even that bad. It's a therapeutic, so it's not a sector I play, but I do like the chart. Dude, start putting these lives on podcast apps. They are put on podcast apps, but it happens after the podcast. Like, I can't simultaneously do it live. Like, I don't have that type of relationship with Apple or Spotify, so I upload them later. And of course, they're always going to be on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch. All 4 of you should. All 4 of it. William Jackson, all 4 of you should. Should what? I don't know. It sounds supportive though, so I like it. A lot of people talking about Upstart, UPST. Upstart. This is one that it just doesn't stop moving. So there was some people in the live stream who first made money on this gap up and they're like, I'm going to hold it. This thing just does not stop moving. UPST, the fact that it hasn't stopped moving means like I'm not the most excited about chasing it because like not long ago it was trading sub 100 and right now it's 375, but it is super fun to watch. Like it really is. It's been crushing it. Every single earnings announcement, it just rips. It rips like every earnings. It just rips. And in fact, did it just have another one? Like this seems to be like a weird cadence. Like maybe one's coming up or, oh wait, no, it's predicted to be or early November. Man, UPST, if you're in it, let your winners ride. That's how I would look at it. I have no UPST position. I really wish I did for obvious reasons, but man, this thing is absolutely crushing it. Are you not trading crypto today? I'm in crypto. I never actively trade it, but with like this recent run up, my crypto portfolio has gotten some very serious size. I love Bitcoin. I love Ethereum. I love Cardano. I love Solana. I love Hex. I'm in Doge and Shiba. The reason I'm like specifically not saying I love them is just because I need to give them time to breathe. Like the other ones I listed are very legitimate projects that I think have a AMC. We're getting that technical breakout. Now remember, it could be a fake out breakout. We're looking for it to hold. AMC is commonly moves in this theory, or like the pattern, I should say, not a theory. It breaks out and then it comes down and retests the line. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. If it wants to break, hold, and just continue up to the gap fill at 44.20, I'm more than excited for that to happen. But I'm just letting you know, over the past 10 months, this just seems to be how AMC moves. It breaks and then it sits. It breaks and it sits. So let's see if it's going to reaffirm 41.85, make a base there, maybe a little bit under it, potentially around 41.60, and then really rip for like the true confirmation. But hey, if people are just going to get excited and push this up to 44.20 right now, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's let this rip. AMC currently trading at 42, GME currently trading at 185. AMC is up 3%, GME is up 0.6%. The SPY, the Qs, IWM, all flat, and they're trading upward for their, like where they closed at on Friday. So we kind of gapped down from Friday till today, and now all the major indexes are trading back up. PROG looking strong at 250, intraday breakout at 255, daily breakout at 270. All right, where are we at? I'm trying to figure out why my transfer has not gone through. From Webull to public, I think, or my stocks just lost somewhere in the interwebs. Where would this even be? Where would this be? Seems like something I need to really dive into, but hey. AMC looking good at 42. GME looking good at, or GME at 185. PROG looks like it's about to run to 270. IWM looking good. Bitcoin pushing 62,000. So it's a turbulent market, hence why I titled it, but it's turbulent still in the right direction. So let's take it. Let's take it. A little bit wonky, kind of stumbling around, but at least stumbling upward. Thoughts on Corsair, CRSR long-term? I like it. I'm a big fan of the esports industry. Corsair is a well-respected company within it. In the short term, it does have a bit of a short interest, so that gets some people excited, but long-term bull on esports. That was a great and extremely unbiased interview this weekend. I loved it. Feel great to ground our community to start to develop a fight plan. I appreciate that, the devil you know. I have more interviews coming down the pipeline. I love the interviews. I love the process. Before all the interviews, I do a deep dive into the person and the situation that I want to talk to them about. I like it. It feels like each one's like a mini project to me. Yes, that was an hour interview, but specific to Mark Cohodes and the questions I wanted to ask him, I did at least 20 hours of research, and I like it. To me, like it's like I just feel so comfortable and planned, and that's why I'm able, I guess, to come up with the question, because I just think about it like there's a lot of planning, and also obviously just coordinating with the person. But don't look for that to stop by any means. My plan, hopefully, I want to pull it off, is right now every interview, like I want to do a big interview every Saturday. And then as I get a backlog of people I'm going to interview, well, all of a sudden I could do Saturday, Sunday. Then I could do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So right now, my I guess, reputation and platform allow me to do one good interview a week, but I'm trying to get a nice backlog of interviews in there so I can do multiple because, hey, it's great free education. So for anyone that wants to listen to the person, what they have to say, and they're generally, it's an expert in some sort of material that's going to help the apes. Like, obviously, with Lisa Branganza, that was from the regulatory SEC standpoint. With Mark Cohodes, that's from the hedge fund standpoint and a guy who's dealt with manipulation. Dave Lauer is from the market structure standpoint. There are various different aspects to this that I'm looking to bring in an expert from each little vein so we're all up, like really up to speed on what is or isn't going on. And there's some exciting ones. None of it is confirmed. I actually don't even have one confirmed for this Saturday. So, hey, if you guys have a suggestion of who you do or don't want to see, let me know. Tweet me, DM me. I don't know. Do something like that. Or maybe I'll put one out and everyone can like say, hey, I want to hear from this person, this person, this person. The person I'm in talks with to attempt to get it done by this Saturday, you're going to lose your mind. Like your jaw will drop to the ground if I can pull this off. You guys think you went bananas with Lisa. You think you went bananas with Mark. If I can pull off the person I'm attempting to pull off for this Saturday, you guys, you're going to be very, 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 very surprised and excited. It'll be an awesome conversation. It's just some of these people, when you are talking to people of this caliber and at this level of credibility and expertise, they're not necessarily the easiest people to like get in contact with. Generally, they're very, very busy. So there's some moving parts to it, but hey, just another fun puzzle. People are saying Ken. No, I would love to interview Ken Griffin. I would truly do it. Why not? If I could interview any of those guys, Ken Griffin, Sorry Charlie, who else is against us all the time? Kramer, any of those. Of course I would do it. Why not? Better understand the mindset of the people that we're currently going up against. Like, I just view it as an educational opportunity. Is AMC moving due to shorts covering right now? Possibility, but I doubt it. This, to me, is a classic gap fill play. I think people are just going long on it for a gap fill up to 44.20. To baby. I just bring it I'm just like mediating a discussion between DaBaby and Hulk Hogan. Interview the Tasty Trades guys. They used to be market makers. That'd be cool. Matt's hair is a huge distraction from holding AMC and Jimmy and working. Matthew Perry, does Gassy Pants know about this price action? Probably. And he's probably trying to come up with some sort of derogatory tweet. I just think he's a bad human being. My mindset on him is so much different than these other people. Like for example, take someone like Jim Cramer. I think Jim Cramer is just, I think social media is having a huge negative impact on his mental health. And I think he's like getting into a social media arena that he doesn't quite understand. And like, he's very flippant. Sometimes he seems to be for us. Other times he seems to be against us. It's confusing. But I don't think he's a malicious player. I really don't. Like, I would like to talk to him. I'd like to get like some of his thoughts and opinions straight. But I actually think Charlie Gasparino is like actually a malicious bad player in this world. My mindset on the two is wildly, wildly different. I don't even think I would put them in the same arena. Like, I find entertainment out of Jim Cramer. I do. When I was younger, when I was trying to learn about stocks, I watched Mad Money and I learned from him. And I don't know, like as we saw some of his conversations with Jon Stewart, I'm like, okay, like kind of a little bit of a weird past. Like, you have more knowledge. Why not protect retail? Because he could protect retail. So I find that a bit weird. But I mean, Gasparino, like, I don't think he provides entertainment. I don't think he provides education. I think he is a truly malicious player. I think of them wildly different in my mind. Can you interview Meet Kevin? Yeah, I mean, I actually have his contact. Like, I could reach out to him. It'd be cool to get his thoughts on everything. I would love to interview like kind of all of those OG finance YouTubers. I'm talking Meet Kevin, Andre Jick, Graham Stephan, and Jeremy from Financial Education. Those 4 guys are kind of like the 4 guys who started like YouTube finance. I have like a little bit more of a personal relationship with Andre just because I flew out and did that video with him. I've already done a couple of videos with Meet Kevin, so I know them a little bit more closely. I've had no direct contact with Jeremy from Financial Education or Graham Stephan, but I think if I present it right, they would be excited to do it. If I'm like, hey, like, this is what we want to talk about. The community would love your input just from like maybe a different viewpoint. I would love to do that little mini series of those 4 guys right there. Charlie from Zip Trader. Yeah, I mean, we know he's excited about AMC, so I think he would say yes, but he seems like a really cool guy. Gassy Pants is the wannabe goon of financial television. Kenny G's landscaper. He has all the dirt. But my transfer from Robinhood to Fidelity went through. There was 70.73 shares left. They sold them to close my account. Is that normal? I did not sell anything. Maybe that was like the fee, or maybe they can't transfer partial shares. So maybe that was just the partial shares that you already had. So it could relate to that. Deep F in value. Oh my, yeah, he would be like a huge score of an interview, but to my understanding, he doesn't do interviews. Does not do interviews. I think he's gone a little bit more of the like recluse route, given all the insanity after getting called in front of Congress and all of that. Do options buy and sells affect the price movement of a stock? No, not directly. If you buy a call, sell a call, buy a put, sell a put, that does not directly impact the price. It can later in terms of like forcing people to hedge or not hedge, or people trying to pin the price. So maybe a little bit downstream, but the moment of you buying a call or a put, or selling a call or selling a put, it does not impact a price of a stock the way buying and or selling a stock does. Love to see you interview Andrew of Trading Science. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to write that down and look into him. Andrew of Trading Science. Andrew of Trading Science. Andrew Trading Science. Someone just said, sorry, Charlie wears Uggs. Oh, man. AMC looking good. 42.40. Man, oh man. Hey, I know it gets annoying, but it does really help me with algorithm stuff. If you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you guys could annihilate the like button. Hitting that like button, it's completely free. It just helps me out with the algorithm. And if you haven't done it already, don't forget to join up with the Moon Gang. Subscribing, liking, completely free. If you're on Twitch, following is completely free. If you're on Rumble, dropping the Royal Rumble button, becoming a follower, a subscriber, all of that is completely free. I know many people decide to go above and beyond that, but that's truly the only form of support like I ask for in return for the efforts of what I do. Just a quick like, a quick subscribe. It does help me out like more than I could even state. So I do completely appreciate that. And really, I recommend that for all of your favorite people. If you're watching Trey, if you're watching TMI, if you're watching whoever, just maybe not even in this arena, the benefit to the creator when you do something as simple as dropping a like, going to a subscription, hitting that, turning on the notifications, to all the people that you consume their content and they're putting it out there for free, it is massively beneficial to them. So show them a little bit of love for whoever it is. Just if you like their content, that's a great way to help them without any money actually being exchanged. You guys love when I say doo-doo. David Gonzalez. John Layfield. All right. David, let me find this. Grateful for everything you always do, brother. AMC to the moon. Could you give a quick TA on BBIG? Have a little in there. Planning to roll into AMC. Yes. So BBIG was looking pretty strong. BBIG, it's at resistance right now, 850, then 950. If you want to quickly screenshot this, these are the levels of support and resistance I would watch. I want to point out that I like the MACD. It crossover. It's building up momentum. In terms of the numbers from Ortex on BBIG, short interest is 24.36%, utilization 99.3%, shares on loan 33 mil, cost to borrow 176%. That is a sky high. That is a sky high cost to borrow. That's wow. That's very high. Matt, after Moas, can you RKO Kenny out of nowhere? Oh, that's funny. PROG hanging out at 250. IWM taking a surprising breather right now. I'm just saying it's surprising because AMC being the biggest stock within this ETF, like AMC's like it's having a good day. It's up 4%. We're in the middle of this gap fill right now. AMC, check this out. We are in the middle of this region from the 4185 breakout. I mean, I've been saying this ever since really the end of September. 4420, look for the momentum to build up. We have this gap fill, 100% watching that. If we happen to hit that today after 4420, then I'm watching this trend line. After that trend line, I am then watching the recent relative high of 52. Why is this not working? 52.79. So gap fill, trend line, $53 basically are the major levels on the daily time frame. Shorter time frame, still step one is this gap fill at 44.20 and looking for the momentum to continue, which you can clearly see in the MACD ever since September 30th. Less and less bearish momentum, and now finally more and more bullish momentum. Are you connected to Dumb Money TV? No, I don't know who Dumb Money TV is. Am I connected to? No, this one is just more of dumb money from like what Wall Street and media thinks of the apes. Like they think we're dumb and they think we're dumb money. So that's where that name comes from. It's just, I guess, the community taking on the name of how we're referred to and thought of by mainstream media and by hedge funds and Wall Street in general. Shout out Rob, shout out Classic Physique, shout out David, Agent, Violet, Jason. Nikki, what's going on? Did I fix the rook leaf? Nope, potato, I'm just letting that continue leak. It's just how I like to live my life. My transfer is mostly done and it's been a week or two, but I still haven't gotten my USD for any GME for some reason. Monkey Man, are you doing the same transfer from Webull to public? WTRH. It's looking good. Feels a bit chasey. What's this? It's a hold. Is this a SPAC play? No, it's not a SPAC play. Very evident bear trend though. Like in the short term, a little bit more of a bull trend, but the gap below it freaks me out. I don't like trading penny stocks, so this really isn't my cup of tea. Would you still do the hot chip challenge if we fill the gap today or if we hit 45? If we hit 45, I'll do the hot chip challenge. I wouldn't be able to do it right away, but that would trigger it and I would owe you guys the hot chip challenge for sure. The hot chip challenge, let's do this. If we hit 45, we don't have to close above it, but on today, Monday, October 18th, the current hot chip challenge price is if we just hit 45. If there's one trade that goes through at 45, that would trigger the hot chip challenge. How do you account for something like PROG share dilution when looking at the technicals? With the share dilution, I would just be looking at, okay, dilution, when it's first announced, generally you see some bearishness. So I'd be looking at support. But in terms of support and resistance, more shares wouldn't change the levels I'm paying attention to. It would change my sentiment for maybe a short time period, but it wouldn't change the actual levels. Here, let's get some rocket going. There's some rocket. There we go for AMC. Rocket above the head. PROG looking good at 250. AMC looking great at 42.40. Intraday high is 42.67. It looks like still gap fill 44.20. IWM coming back around very quickly. How's the SPY looking? Strong. How's the Qs looking? Strong. Lots of green. How is Bitcoin looking? Above 62K. Crypto is moving. Crypto is a money-making opportunity. Remember, I don't actively trade crypto. I'm just in it for the long haul. Super easy to get signed up with Coinbase, Gemini, Voyager, or any of the other ones that I've listed. Shiba is holding strong. Matic is holding strong. I'm a little bit disappointed in Cardano. I think it should be sitting closer to $3, but it's at $2.15. I think Cardano will make its move one of these days. Ethereum, strong. I'm looking for the breakout at 3,900. This trend line, psychological level at 4,000. Currently, I am heavily invested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Matic, Solana. A lot of my money, though, is Ethereum and Bitcoin at this moment in time. AMC perking up, looking good. Let's throw PROG back up here. Tesla having a solid day. Solid. Oh, Tesla looks like it wants to move again. Look for Tesla to punch above 864. And if it does so, you're watching 880. So watch 864. And from there, I would watch 880 on TSLA. Man, lots of green, lots of money making opportunity. 6 shares away from 400. Shout out. I like that. Do market makers have to pay the cost to borrow when the market is short for liquidity? No, not necessarily. Peter Van Den Kloot, great question. Remember, they can short without ever locating shares. So if they're not locating shares, they don't have to pay anyone a borrow fee. P's at 50. I learned my lesson on that. I never want to do P's again. That was not my cup of tea. I'm looking for SOS to break and hold 227 or text data good for a squeeze. What do you think? No, I don't think SOS is a good squeeze play. I just don't see enough people. Remember, right now, we live in the day and age for a squeeze play. It seems like a lot of people need to be excited and talking about it. Just because it has short interest, that doesn't mean it's going to squeeze. Not at all. I don't know where that misconception is coming from. You also need that demand. You need that price action. SOS, if you're talking about a minor short squeeze play, I think the leading candidate is ANY, any. That's actually the only minor I would be interested in. Beyond that, things like Riot, Mara, at that point, just play Bitcoin directly. I don't see the advantage of being in a minor. The only crypto miner I'd consider right now is ANY, because I think there's a certain percentage chance of a squeeze. Things like SOS, they're just a weaker miner play relative to things like Riot and Mara. So at that point, why play the inter-business competition when you could directly invest in crypto? Can you explain why my option contract will be, per example, $150 stock at $2? Sometime will pass, stock drops to 150, then back to 250 with my option contracts worth 130. Will be, per example, plus 150 stock at $2. Sometime will pass, stock drops to 150, then back to 250. My options will be worth 130. There's no way to actually know, because you have to consider the time until expiration, Mark Edward. So it depends on how close your expiration is and the current volatility of the stock. What you could do to get a rough idea is if you just Google options calculator, it would give you a close estimation in your scenario of like what the value would be at. I try to use Voyager. Voyager not supporting BSC transactions. I'm not quite sure what that is, Christian. On my Voyager, I mean, I have a handful of things on Voyager and I haven't had an issue with that, but I've also not done BSC transactions. All right, AMC, good. 42.70 right now. The name of the game on AMC, it's easy. It's a gap fill. The next watch is technically you could argue 43.30, but I really care about 44.20. So we have a ways to go. What's that? About 60 cents to like a little bit of a watch, but really we're watching a $1.60 gain ish, $1.60. So watch 60 cents and then $1.60. Check CLSK, please. They mine clean BTC, and it's just one sector of the company, CLSK. Looks good. Looks a bit chasey. You had a lot of opportunity to get in cheaper, and it's at resistance right now. But clearly, with BTC moving, it's going. But still, I'm not interested in miners. The only miner I care about is probably ANY at this point. Other than that, it doesn't make sense to me to take on the additional risk of inter-business competition when you could just get crypto directly itself. Like, why take that risk? It doesn't make sense to me. Because all of those are going to do well with crypto doing well, but then like if there's more miners or like there's various risks. So if you're bullish on crypto, just get some crypto. All right, AMC looking so good. All right, so we're watching 43.30, then 44.20, currently trading at 42.80. So might be making the move to that psychological level at 43 very soon. And then from there, we would kind of be watching that 30-cent move above it. IWM, little bit of a downtrend ever since 1020-ish. PROG at 246, looking for it to hold at. This is the exact area it's had problems at. GME looking good, bending back around 186. You're looking for that breakout at 190. All right, AMC, ding, hitting 43. AMC up 5.4% on the day. All right, calm, cool, collected. Like I said, gap fill 44.20. We're rocking. Putting some momentum together. All right, let me see if there's any breaking news. Any breaking news we need to go over that might impact us. No. Nothing really there. Amazon plans to hire 150,000 seasonal staff. Lawmakers question whether top Amazon executive lied to Congress. Homebuyer sentiment bounces back despite ongoing supply chain problems. Those are some interesting headlines. The wealthiest 10% of Americans own a record 89% of all U.S. stock. Netflix Squid Game is reportedly worth about 900 mil. All right. Those are some interesting breakdowns. Let me see if I can get any other news for you. Any other major news? Traders are rapidly increasing bets on $200 oil. Interesting. Oil higher. News. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell continued to trade securities from his personal account during the pandemic, including a sale of between 1 to 5 million on the total market index fund October 1st, 2020. The Dow will lose 6% that month. Yeah, but then the market continued up from there, so that one's a weird one. What else do we have? What else do we have? Nothing too crazy right now. Nothing. Let me see. Let me see. New York AG cracks down on unregistered crypto platforms, directing 2 crypto companies to shut down. So once again, New York being very, very tough on crypto. That's exactly why Voyager doesn't trade there. BITO, the ProShares ETF, obviously we know it's Bitcoin futures, not Bitcoin directly. So it's going to be cash settlement, not physical settlement. So I think the best way to think about it is indirect ownership. What else do we have? All right, AMC dancing right below 43. Russell 2000 coming back around. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let me actually mark this out on the Russell. I honestly think it's AMC bringing it up. I mean, with AMC having such a great day. And the market just in general, like a lot of things are green, but not surprised that AMC is kind of leading the charge forward right here. Back above 43. So little bit of a watch, 43.30. I think it's technically 33. Let me just mark it out there. That's just a daily high from a couple weeks ago, but still, once again, 44.20 I think is the magic gap fill area that we're really talking about. Actually, I'm working for the moon, but I can feel the boosters igniting. Can you play the song where we go to the moon, please? Of course. Here, let me play up one.
Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money. This ain't financial advice, just a little DD to help you think twice. We hope for each other, eyes on the prize. The new floor's 200,000 times 5. I joke, I kid, no, I don't know a damn thing. I'm as simple as Bubba trying to sell some damn shrimp. Can't spell IQ, can't even count to 10. And I eat crayons every day with my friends. I think about Kenny in his ivory tower, shaking in his lily boots as the apes overpower. Must suck to lose to monkeys, so dumb. But you made your bed and you got nowhere to run. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he makes the prize fall. And he watching as we keep on more. You forgot we on the float, blind 2 hours old. Lie, stop breaking the law, asshole. Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money. Yeah, crayon eating Lambo loving smooth brain, stupid ass. Throwing all my money at the streets like a quarterback. FUD don't mean a thing. Water off a duck's back. Apes not leaving nothing till we get the money stacks. Monkey see, monkey do, monkey holding to it blue. Monkey magic coming through. Through us monkeys on the moon. Double digit IQ, tendy loving bamboo. Right here we got more smoothies than a jumbo juice. Probably thought you coulda made us sell all the gooder. And hell, we maybe woulda, but we more than the Buddha. The floor 6 figures ain't selling for less. You took on the ape nation and you're fucking with the best. We hold for each other, my sisters and my brothers, the fighters and the lovers. We don't need another fan because we huddle through hard times and struggle. Cause we just a couple of dumps in the rubble. Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. AMC getting very, very close for a little bit of resistance. I'm specifically calling out the high from September 20th, like kind of the actual gap day. That was the high. And that's what we're going to right now. This high was specifically 43.33. From there, that's untested. From September 17th till this is untested. We don't know the levels of supply and demand in here. That's why it's a gap. This low, this high, this has not been tested moving forward ever since there, linear nature of time and everything. We're waiting. Let me coordinates. Let's go up 1 cent on that. Get it perfect. Thus far, we have hit 43.25, so off by what? 8 cents. 8 cents, 8 cents. Are you back in options? I am not. Right now, I have AMC and GME shares, and that's just where I'm at. Remember, this is a fact. Most millionaires have at least $1 million. Are you back in options? I am not. I have AMC stock. I have GME stock. I have I guess I'm waiting for the transfer to go through. Assuming that of course you still have, I guess, ownership, even if it's transferring. So yeah, I have a 4-figure share account of AMC and a 3-figure share account of GME. And no calls on any of those. Actually, I don't think I have any options whatsoever in any of my accounts at this moment in time. I have stock, I have ETFs, and I'm long on the futures contract for the Russell 2000 as of now. I have like one long contract. All right, 43.30. Honestly though, I see that there, but I still very much care about this gap fill. Maybe you see this one, just curious. What AERG? AERG. It's moving, but it's a penny stock. Aerospace defense. Recent penny stock, it's ripping. I'm not gonna chase, and I'm definitely not chasing a penny stock. So if you're in it, obviously let your winners ride. But for me, you don't want to get in when it's already made some monster move. That's not your opportunity really to get in terms of a well-balanced risk to reward methodology. Who sings the song you just played? So both the songs that I play, Show Me the Money, Into the Moon, is both by Gorillionaires. You can find them on YouTube. I think they're on other various music platforms like Spotify, yada, 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 all that stuff. But once again, the band is Gorillionaires. The song is To the Moon. The other one is Show Me the Money. Show Me the Money features Martian XTG and Chaos in Roswell. All of them, that entire group, Gorillionaires, Martian XTG, Chaos in Roswell, all apes, all awesome people, which is why I'm more than excited to play their music, because why not? It's hard enough to be an artist, so especially if they're in this community, if I could use my platform to give them a helping hand, I totally will, because I think their music rocks. You eating the chip at 45? Yes. So that is the deal, but for me to be clear, that would trigger it, as in I would owe you all the chip. I need to think of when I would do it though, because I would make it like it's an own independent thing, but that would trigger it. So if we hit 45 today, we don't even have to close above it. If we hit 45, you get the chip. I would owe you one chip. Oh man, AMC looking good in the hood. 43. All right, so I know I'm going a bit over. I'll give you guys 15 more minutes. We'll run this one an extra 30 minutes. And then if things are still kind of crazy, if things get nuts today, look for me to stream again. Shout out to all of you in the Discord. Obviously, I'm making some time to hang out with that. If you want to be a member of the Moon Gang Discord, it's in the description of the video. Some things coming to that shortly as I also work on progressing this show, but I do really enjoy hanging out with all of you. Is Weeble corrupt? Recommend a different brokerage. I don't know if I would call it corrupt. It just engages in payment for order flow and sends your orders to a market maker. Recommended different brokerage? Yeah, public. I don't think anyone should be on Robinhood. I don't think anyone should be on Webull. I think you should be on public. If you want to be an options trader, maybe check out TDA, maybe check out Fidelity. If you're on TDA, if you're on Fidelity, you have to manually route your orders. Public is for stock trading. You get free stock when you sign up. It's free to trade, and you don't have to route your orders. Like, the way they work is sending your orders to lit exchanges inherently. That's like their backend, and they don't do payment for order flow. I am a big supporter of getting our trades done on lit exchanges, and a symptom of that is payment for order flow. So if we get rid of that, that inherently is going to put more trades on lit exchanges. So I wouldn't call them corrupt, but I think there's no reason to be on Robinhood. There's no reason to be on Webull. I think the easiest option is public if you're in the US. Maybe you're an options trader. Maybe you want to be on TDA. Maybe you want to be on Fidelity. Those are good platforms. Really, if you're not talking about public, I'm going to be supportive of a platform that lets you route your orders. If you can manually route it to the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, IEX, big fan of IEX. I like what the company stands for. I was fortunate enough to do a podcast with them, and as I talked with them before and after, I just think they are a very moral company. In fact, IEX, that entire exchange was created to battle high frequency traders. Like, I like what they stand for. How does public make its money? Through share lending, which you can opt out of, and also optional tipping. Look into talking to Genk from Young Turks. He was one of the original reporters of Occupy Wall Street. Can you look at NXE for a hold? I don't know who that is, but I can look into NXE. Looks very strong, but it's chasing. Like, what's this, an all-time high? Yeah, I've never come across a good trading methodology that tells you to buy in at an all-time high. So if you're in it, let it ride. But it was exciting to get in at 520 right here on this movement, on this breakout. I don't buy anything at an all-time high. How do you manually route on Fidelity? There's a route option, and you just pick the exchange you want it to get routed to. What about Moomoo app? I don't know much about it. My thought is that most brokerages, if they have free trading, it's going to be payment for order flow. So like, that would be my initial bias, and then I would need to look into it and find the information that it's not. What's a market maker? So a market maker is a specialized form of high frequency trader that provides liquidity to the market. So when I talk about liquidity, I'm talking about they fill out the bid, they fill out the ask, they make it easier for people to get in and out of positions. Without a market maker, there would be far less liquidity in each individual equity, option, ETF, all those related things. So for us, like, the easiest, and like, honestly, that could be a full discussion of what a market maker is and isn't, but the easiest way to put it is they provide liquidity. They fill out the bid, they fill out the ask. So if you're looking at the level 2, all those sitting buy orders, all those sitting ask orders, most of them are going to come from a market maker. All right, I think we are up to date there. All right, IWM looking good, PROG looking good, SPY looking good, Q's looking good, everything's looking good right now, folks. GME looking good, AMC looking good, IWM looking good, SDC intraday looking good, daily chart not the best, ANY looking good, Tesla, taking a bit of a breather. Let's see if it can hold 860, but still up 2% today, which for Tesla is very good. Bitcoin just below 62,000, Ethereum 3,750, Cardano 212, Doge 25 cents, Hex 25 cents. Hex is taking a big hit right now. If you like Hex, you want to buy on weakness. Like, look at this sell-off, but obviously look for support to be found and look for it to bend back around. I'm in Hex. I don't know if I'm a full-fledged Hexican, but I guess I am because I'm in it and I'm hodling it. But Hex if you like it, if you've been interested in it, wait for it to find support and bend back off of that. Sheeb, look for Sheeb to push whatever this is. Let's just call it 30. Look for Sheeb to continue to push. Solana hanging out at 156, looking for the breakout of 165. Let me throw PROG back up. I just know a lot of people are interested in it. PROG strength. Oh, Chank is the guy that said he'd end Joe Rogan in a fight. Have you heard of Black Box? They claim to show dark pool information to retail traders. I've not heard of Black Box, but dark pool information is publicly available. Like, the information you get from dark pools is their trading volume. That's what you get from dark pools, is how much volume did they trade per day. You can get that. There are various providers that give it. In terms of, I think I do know who of this guy is. The guy who would end Joe Rogan in a fight. If it's the guy I'm picturing like a pretty out of shape dude saying that he could beat Joe Rogan in a fight, who's like an in shape fighter. So that pronounced Jank. I don't even really know. If it's the guy I'm picturing, no, he's not going to beat Joe Rogan in any form of a fight. He couldn't beat him in thumb wrestling. Please check out IonQ, the first quantum computing stock backed by Google, Amazon, Gates, Quantum Week this week. It's the future. James, that's interesting. I'll look into it. He's from the Young Turk. What are Young Turks? All I can think is Young Turkeys. Is it like are they like turkey supporters? Like, do they like the fowl, like the animal? Like, are they big supporter of like Thanksgiving? What is a young turkey? All I can think of is young turkeys. Here, we can beat Joe Rogan in a fight, and I love turkeys. My name is Jank, and I love turkeys. That'd be funny. They have an entire show, and they just like love turkeys. People are like, it's definitely not about turkeys. I assume it's not about turkeys, but to me, has anyone pitched them that? I feel like that would be a more exciting brand recognition of like, here's what's going on in the world of turkeys. Like the way I keep you updated about the world of tulips. Like if we just had like some big social media platform, he's like, here's what you need to know about turkeys. Good day, Mark. Awesome interview this weekend. If market makers can make unlimited synthetic shares and options chains, this could go on a while, correct? If so, have you given any thought to what we could do as a group to close the loophole? Yeah, to close the loophole, we need to get like enact true legal change. So we need to bring our argument to political officials and like get them to hear us out. I see a lot of people that it's like some political group. All right, if it's a political group, obviously I just probably don't care about them. Now I wish even more that they talked about turkeys. Like at first you had me interested. I was like, oh, all right, sweet. I can learn something about turkeys here. But if it's a political group, probably not my cup of tea. Hey, Matt, my friend is getting married in November. What should I get him as a gift? Your friend? Get him as a gift. I don't know. Get him like 5 shares of AMC or get him some crypto. Be like, get him like a crypto wallet and put some crypto on it and be like, save this forever. If you're looking for like well, I know a lot of people now do those registries when they're like, we're going on a honeymoon, and you could just participate in that, like pay them whatever you want to pay into their like trip fund. I think that's actually the most logical and most reasonable. You could always do something that's like a pain in the ass. Like even if they don't want a pet, get them a pet. Be like, here's a kitten. And like, they can't say no to it because it's a kitten or like a puppy, like whoever says no to like a little fur baby. So that could be interesting. A lot of ways to take it. you could just paint them something. Be like, here's how I view our relationship, and like your buddy's getting married. So like maybe just you holding like a stick figure drawing of you holding his hand and you holding like the bride's hand. It's like, here's us, and like expect them to hang it up in their house, like a nice stick figure drawing. I think that's another opportunity. Black Box claims they can show you the actual transactions being made in real time in dark pools, not just the collective data. Yeah, I mean, it's all out there. Like that's the data that we have about dark pools. You can see the time and sales on dark pools and the price and the share size. Like that's all, that's like well-known information. There are many, many data providers out there that have that, Brambles. Like the only difference about a dark pool really is that you don't see the sitting buy orders and you don't see the sitting sell orders. As soon as a transaction is made, it hits the time and sales. You can see the price that it was hit and you can see the size. That is all out there. That's not hidden information. A lot of people in this community are overstating the nefarious aspect of dark pools. When you trade, it has a material impact on price. The difference is you don't see the sitting buy orders, you don't see the sitting sell orders. Why is that a thing? Because if you have a big pension fund such as Apple or a big pension fund that's trying to buy a stock such as Apple, if they're trying to buy 1 million shares of Apple, well, if you see that as a sitting bid, that's going to sway the market. You don't want it to sway the market before the trade goes through. Or if you're trying to sell 1 million shares of Apple, that would be like, whoa, do they know something we don't? And it would drive the price down before the trade is actually hit, before those shares exchange hands. Other than that, on a dark pool, the trades are public, like when the trade actually goes through. What's not public is the sitting buy orders, the sitting sell orders. I actually like the Young Turks, their political news and commentary. I mean, I think it would be better if they actually spoke about turkeys. Hey, I'm just an idea guy. I'm not saying they have to take it. I'm not saying they don't have to take it. I'm just saying if they realize that my pitch with their name is all about young turkeys, like I think I'm entitled to some royalties. I think that's a good business add-on. I'm not saying they have to exclusively get rid of their political commentary. I'm just saying that they should maybe consider involving more turkeys. Why shouldn't someone trying to sell 1 million shares have that disadvantage? I'm okay with more competition. I don't want to get rid of dark pools. I think there's too many dark pools. I think we need less dark pools and they should be more regulated. But dark pools, when you have big sizes with the buys and the ask, that makes the market more inefficient and causes problems when you're flashing that type of size. And if it's out there, I would have issues. I would have more issues with dark pools if retail traders could not use them. If for some reason you happen to be a very rich individual, or even if you just want to buy your 5 shares and like just not have people see your buy order, to me, I just want everyone to be able to engage in the same parts of the market. If institutions and hedge funds can trade on a dark pool, I think we should be able to trade on a dark pool. It's that simple. Like whatever's there, and there's pros and cons to dark pools. It does help with more competition, and I'm not ever going to really be against more competition. I'm against some of the manipulation and the backdoors that are sold to high frequency traders. I can go on. There's pros and cons, but the pros and cons that I know of it, especially the cons that exist surrounding dark pools are not the cons that the ape community discusses. The ape community discusses a completely fictitious, fabricated concept that it doesn't impact price. Trading on dark pools does impact price. This is not contentious. It's contentious in this community when I say it because everyone's like, whoa, Matt, I heard this other YouTuber say this. Well, in this particular scenario, the other YouTuber is wrong. No person that knows about market structure and exchanges and has been trading for a while disagrees with this. This is like a commonly held, like, I guess, basis of knowledge of what dark pools do and don't do. It's just, I don't know. Like, you can't sit here and just play nice when you know someone else out there is putting out false information. I can't be like, well, maybe they're right. This isn't an opinionated thing. This is just factual. Facts should not have emotion tied to it. If you're talking about the market, you should want to know the truth because it's your money at stake. And if we can continue to push incorrect rhetoric, we're just going to be laughed at. Like, we're not going to get any change done. Like, we have to like actually have the truth at our back. So when people are pushing falsehoods, it's just like, well, what's the point of that? It's a waste of time. Sorry about that. I thought knowing who is trading and what they are trading in dark pools was hidden. My fault. Dumb question. Thanks for clarifying. We don't know who traded. Just to clarify with that, Brambles, that's a very, very good follow-up question. We still don't know who traded. You know when it was traded, the size that was traded, and the price that it was traded at. So when, the price, and the size, you don't necessarily know the who. I know you go to that. Thanks for sticking around. Shout out. Dreaming Green Logistics, what's going on? It's been a hot minute. Happy to see you back in here. What's going on? Kinky Kong, 8 Bay, big audience. Though they talk to the Turkey people. Hey, I'm happy to talk with whoever. And in a certain way, I think it's beneficial to talk to people, to these groups that are on both sides of the political aisle, because like, as a creator myself, we can try to best show that this is not political. Like if you're exclusively talking with one party, I understand how it can kind of seem like, oh, wait, hang on, like they're fighting on that one particular side then. And I don't think that's necessarily the best. I think it's useful to talk to both Democrat, Republican, and independent senators, representatives, social media platforms. Like we want to show that this argument resonates with both sides. It shouldn't be political. Where can I send some money to contribute to paying for a lobbyist? I don't know of anything valid that's set up yet. Like right now, these are kind of like early steps and people are still like kind of in the thought process of, do they think it's the way the community should go? Is it valid? But there's no verified place I see where they're like, oh, we're going to get a lobbyist. If something like that ever changes, it's definitely like, I'll let you guys know. But just as of now, as Mark Kohota said, like, don't do this dumb, like, GoFundMe route to like, we're going to get like, no. There's a more professional, reasonable way to go about all of this. GME looking good, 187. Remember, 188, 190, we're looking for that breakout above 190. AMC's looking good, bouncing right off of 42.50. Would love to see the break of 43.33. IWM flat, but it's a little bit range bound after this nice gain. Looking for the breakout above 225. PROG looking strong. Actually, as we're talking, it's going higher and higher and higher. Okay, so what you need to know, AMC. You're looking for the breakout of 43.33 and then the gap fill up to 44.20. From there, I'd be watching this top trend line. If it were to occur today, it would be at 47.50. In terms of GME, like I said, you want to break above 190. Then I'm paying attention to 200. In terms of any nice bounce off of 760, you're looking for continued rip higher in crypto. And hopefully any can take out 890 and /$9. PROG looking strong. Look for that break at 270. Tesla settling at 860. I think the next thing we called out was 880, 890, something like that. Lot of green in the market. Lot of green in the market. Crypto, strong. Remember, first Futures Bitcoin ETF coming out tomorrow by ProShares. It will be trading under BITO. We're seeing a lot of bullish flow, AMC, GME, like it's just a green day. Turbulent, it's a turbulent day, but still all kind of trending in a positive, bullish, apish direction. So that's the end of the morning show today. I would ask of you on your way out, if you could all annihilate that like button. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That type of engagement, it truly does help me out with the platform, and it gets me this video and this channel presented in front of more people, and then that way we get more apes and our voice becomes louder. Here's the plan. today, as of now, I'm planning on doing a market wrap-up video that I'll upload, but if things get crazy, I might just hop back on a live stream and we could hang out and just kind of bask in all of the chaos together. So be on the lookout for that. That's a good reason why, if you're subscribed, go to that bell icon, switch it to always, and if I post a video that like going live in an hour or two, you should get that notification, especially for my people on the West Coast, because I know it's super, super early for all of you. Overall, though, thank you for the support. I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. I hope you're ready for, hopefully, fingers crossed, an amazingly green week. What a way to kick off the market this morning. Great Monday opening. I'm excited for not only what today, the remainder of today brings, but the remainder of the week. Things are looking green. As always, thank you for your support. Thank you. I'll catch you later, either with a video upload or an additional live stream. To you people in the Discord, I'll be there in a bit. I just need to take care of some things, and then I'll hop over and we can hang out and talk about what's going on. But overall, looking good. Thank you for the support. And remember, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.